Ladies and gentlemen, just doing a quick mic test. That'll be it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. And we're finally here for the open qualifiers of the NADCL. It is, of course, MLP Dota, joined by John X Fire. John, the number one seeded team we're casting for our first game of this new league, Team ROOONS. They are versing Chaotic Neutral. I should, of course, ask you, John, how the hell do you feel?
Yeah, I'm feeling good, Mike. It's a nice, bright, sunny morning here in Singapore. And, start the day right with some Dota, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. We already saw a bit of trash talk coming out from Chaotic Neutral, who seemed to be very excited to be versing BSJ in his stack. Chaotic Neutral telling him he's going to need the good luck. So this is going to be interesting. And John, if I may, for the viewers, Chaotic Neutral did ask us if we were in for a long game. They asked us if we were going to be happy if the game was going to be prolonged for a long time. I told them I don't want to see a tinker. They said, what about techies? Now, I'm not saying a techie is going to be picked, John, but they asked me the question. And I said I wouldn't mind the techies.
Yeah, I did see that. And I was checking out their profiles. I think Toe Jam actually plays a lot of techies. So you never know. You never know, Mike. It might come out. Might be first phase pick. We might see like what Team Secret tried, the Raid King techies opening. And I wouldn't mind that at all, Mike. Not one bit.
No, we wouldn't. It's an exciting pickup to go for. And you know what? Against the number one seeded team in this league, or in this open qualifier, I should say, like it's not going to be easy. I think they have to go for these quirky kind of cheesy picks to try and really pull a game off them. And mind you, this is a best of one. So if they do go for a very cheesy style draft, I mean, all they've got to do is win this game, and they've already beat the number one team in this open qualifier. So we'll have to keep an eye out for Chaotic Neutral. We do see ROOONS is the man behind the picks and the bans. He has got the 007 tag as well, so a bit of a James Bond fan apparently. Couple bands coming out, John. It's taking a bit of time. I mean, ROOONS, they've only got about 30 seconds reserve time left. We're still in the first banning phase.
Yeah, they did get penalized for late appearance, Mike. So a bit of a draft penalty for them. Slight disadvantage, but you could think of it like a handicap, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. We'll see how much it matters to them. 30 seconds again left on the reserve time. They get rid of the Broodmother. Fair enough. They already understand they've got to be very wary of these cheese picks that could be coming out. We'll see what Chaotic Neutral get rid of. Of course, we should congratulate Team ROOONS, John. They recently actually qualified for the Kuala Lumpur Major. So, I mean, BSJ going to his first tournament already. A very exciting start to the season for them.
Yeah, it definitely is, Mike. And, that's something to look forward to. I suppose being right next door to me, it's going to be exciting to watch.
Oh, so you are going.
Does open up with a silencer.
You are going to the major then, are you?
I'm not sure, Mike. my short-term schedule is quite befuddled, let's say.
Well, fair enough. Silencer first pickup for ROOONS. Nothing too special, John. A pretty good laner. Like this hero makes it very hard for anyone laning against him. Obviously, the global silence very effective as well in those team fights. It's pretty standard.
Yeah, nothing too out of the left for ROOONS. Nothing too surprising. Silencer has been a support pickup we've seen consistently in this first phase. Very safe to pick up. Doesn't really reveal your draft. You can always play around it. It's always relevant because of global silence. Scales into the late game with some int steal. And it's a really potent laning support as well with all that harass. So it's a safe opening from ROOONS. Chaotic Neutral is going with something that's a bit more focused, Mike, I want to say. Shadow Shaman and Clinks, obviously something a bit more geared to pushing fast in the early game, early to mid game. You definitely want to wipe out that map, take control of the map, and choke out ROOONS, I guess, with this kind of lineup, this kind of opening. It's very focused, Mike. Shadow Shaman does have wards to start pushing fast. Clinks comes online really early, start that push, but ROOONS really confident, Mike. Storm Spirit first phase.
I do like it. I like the confidence coming up from ROOONS. They don't mind showing off what they're planning to do early on. But John, if I may take it back to the first pick of Chaotic Neutral. What's with we haven't seen Shadow Shaman in a very long time. Like you and me personally, in the casting scene, we haven't seen Shadow Shaman. How confident are you in this support pick from Chaotic Neutral? Because I don't know, it used to be great, but I don't know about now.
I think it still works out in very specific situations. I think the one issue is that he still does great harass. He just has to go really close. And with meta offlaners like being Enchantress, you don't really do too much against, say, an Enchantress. You're gonna waste a lot more mana trying to kill her off with Ether Shock. And you always have to position yourself quite perfectly with Ether Shock, otherwise you're shoving out your lane. Your range isn't that amazing, even though your right click damage is. And you kind of want XP fairly fast as well as a Shadow Shaman, so could be a bit of the reason why he's tapered off a bit. Doesn't rotate too well. He can rotate, it's just probably not one of the more favorable rotating supports compared to, say, a Silencer with a +1. I feel like it still works out. It's just definitely faded in the spotlight, Mike, compared to some other supports, especially against the offlaners that are in now.
Yeah. Well, we'll see a couple more bands coming out. Of course, if we go back to the Storm Spirit pick as well, they picked it into the Shadow Shaman, which is,
Yeah.
it's strange, isn't it? Like you've got the Hex, you've
It,
got the Shackles, you've got plenty of ways to deal with the Storm Spirit already.
yeah, it's definitely a very confident pick coming out from Runes again. They do have enough control to hold down the Storm Spirit. Shadow Shaman is pretty much enough. You have to make sure to Vortex the Shaman first, so he doesn't get his stun off, and then hopefully, beat down on him really fast that he dies instantly, which you can do. I mean, Shadow Shaman's not really a tanky support, so you can take him down fairly quick as the Storm. You will have issues going up against the Clinks though. Like if this Clinks rushes an Orchid and gets a good timing on it, he's gonna get the jump on you every time if Chaotic Neutral plays this right. And when you're a Sound Storm in the early game without BKB, without Lincolns, what can you really do? You know? So I feel like they've picked the Storm Spirit not only into the Shadow Shaman, Mike, into the Clinks as well, which, if you play it proper, you take over that jungle, sneaking in, and once Clinks has an Orchid, if they opt for that first item Orchid, the Storm Spirit's going to have a rough time playing Recovery, Mike.
No, it certainly is. Then again, we go back to the whole confidence thing. It is the BSJ stack, number one seeded. So, it's kind of like they're just playing what they want. Mind you, again, this is a best of one, so they do have to be very careful. And Chaotic Neutral, already on a good start, like we've discussed, for this draft. Their third pickup now. They will go into the reserve time for that. And I am intrigued to see what they do grab for themselves. John, are they really going to go for a techies? Do you think they will actually do it?
I hope so. I honestly hope so, Mike. I think it would be entertaining. I think honestly it's pretty okay against Storm if you can get the jump on him. Like you prime your suicide from the fog. When you land, he's silenced. Storm's just silenced. Early game, that's deadly. Really deadly. You have the risk of, dying to silencer a lot while you're trying to suicide. But the control on Storm, I think that's pretty potent. And, the high ground defense, the psychological warfare that the techies provides. It should be an interesting pick if you're planning to somehow cheese this out. I think it would work out. You have Clinks for early game as well. I think you could definitely go with the techies here, but no, they go with the Treant, Mike. It doesn't look like we'll be getting that techies game unless they run a techies core.
Which is what I
Or a
assumed,
Treant.
honestly. I assumed the techies core if they were going to do anything, but it looks like they were playing around with us anyway. The Treant, John, again, another great counter to the Storm, unless I'm wrong here.
It's an alright counter to Storm. You have a fairly big AoE that can grab him in. Your root is nice as well. The one issue I see here is that Runes is just going to be happy picking up some sentry wards. Hello.
Uh-oh. The Butcher is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately for the Butcher, John, if you look at the heroes of Chaotic Neutral, there's not much meat going around. We've got a tree, and we know Pudge isn't vegetarian. Clinks is just bones, John. That's not good. And Shadow Shaman, well, he looks like he hasn't been eating recently. I
Yeah,
don't know.
he looks a bit more gamey,
Yeah. But the
like a
Pudge.
kangaroo.
Tell me about the Pudge, John. It got nerfed. The hook cooldown is so long at level 1. You're a big fan of this hero. How effective is it going to be this game?
Hard to say. You don't really have anyone to control early on, so you're gonna have to land those hooks perfectly by yourself. It's gonna be hard to say really because Pudge and Silencer as a support duo. I've seen this before. Um, a few of my good friends, a certain Crest Dota, likes to call this the infinitely scaling duo, and he's not wrong. Silencer and Pudge can scale into the late game really well, and they get some really nice stat gain from having people die near them. The issue is, early on, this kind of support duo just lacks control, Mike. Compare that to Chaotic Neutral. They have an Earthshaker, Shadow Shaman, and a Treant Protector. They have all the control in the world, Mike.
Yeah.
And all the team fight in the world.
Yeah. John, I should apologize to the viewers. I did say Kuala Lumpur Major they qualified for. It was actually the Dream League Minor. My apologies. There's been just too much Dota going on recently.
Fake news.
Fake news indeed, John. I apologize for that. Mirana will be the 4th pickup for ROOONS. So again, they look pretty strong, honestly, but Chaotic Neutral, they look like they're going to put up a good team fight. This is going to be a fun game. We can say that for sure.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, look, it's almost like the classic pub lineup, Mike. You have a support Silencer who picks Silencer. He doesn't really want to play a support. You have someone picking the Pudge because, hey, it's Pudge. Someone else picking the Mirana because it's another skill shot, right? And that mid player who just plays Storm. So I feel like ROOONS is definitely simulating a pub game here, whereas Chaotic Neutral is actually going for a try-hard kind of pub lineup where, one guy's yelling, hey, pick this, I'll pick this. That kind of coordination in a pub game. So we're seeing two different pub philosophies come out here, Mike. It's going to be interesting.
It is indeed. The last pick, Jakiro, comes out from Team ROOONS. So that's going to be, I believe, their pos 4, or perhaps even 5, depending on where they want to put the silencer. Chaotic Neutral. Oh, John, you got something else to say? I mean, they've got the Pudge, so...
Yeah. I don't know. Are we seeing a core silencer? Are we seeing a core jack? Or no, it's probably core Mirana, Storm, and who's your safe lane? Is it going to be core Jakiro like we've seen before, Mike? We've seen it. I think out of all those options, it's likely to be a core Jakiro or a silencer.
We're going to find out very, very soon. Excuse me, ROOONS. We'll see what they pick up. Of course, the PA came out for Chaotic Neutral. They did not go the techies, which is very upsetting, John. But
that's definitely disappointing, Mike.
Chaotic Neutral, though, with the PA, they don't have the greatest ways to deal with the PA on the side of ROOONS either. I mean, sure, you've got the Pudge, I guess, to dismember and keep him in place, but I mean, the PA is still going to be a big problem.
I'd say they have ways of dealing with it. I think the Mirana's one. That's a lot of magical burst early on. If you take a look at Chaotic Neutral's lineup, their 2 cores are not really that tanky, Mike. Clinks without Death Pact is squishy. PA is naturally squishy. So both of these heroes can get bursted down by Mirana if they're picked off. They just die really fast. Jakiro is really nice as well if they get sustained damage. Sustained magic damage will hurt them a lot. Until they pick up BKBs, of course. But I feel like ROOONS lineup is capable of dealing with that PA and the Clinks. Although, if they get a good timing, it might be a bit much. They might be able to run down. But again, ROOONS lineup is also pretty good in that early to mid game, I'd have to say.
Yeah.
When it comes to late game scaling, it's hard to say really who gets an edge. Storm Spirit does so much work in the late game, especially if he itemizes for control. With say Aghanim Scepter coming out. Mirana scales nicely into late game as well, but Clinks has that nice level 25 talent with Split Shot. Yeah, the PA actually scales surprisingly well if you can bounce, if you can hold onto that late game and stay even without losing. And the PA manages to find items, it can scale fairly well. That inherent lifesteal or the triple stifling dagger can provide a lot of control. And the plus 5% coup de grace is actually pretty potent. So it's going to be interesting. I have to say, I'd probably give ROOONS a slight edge, but I wouldn't be surprised if D20 gave a good run in that early to mid game.
Yep, absolutely. It does look like Monkeys Forever are actually going to be on the bot storm. we see a mid Jakiro, John. So Annihilate.
Yeah.
Interesting. It is going to be that core Jakiro. Meanwhile, if I could direct your attention towards the other side of the map, have a look at what Chaotic Neutral's doing. They go for a quick smoke straight off the bat. BSJ trying to provide some websites and promo codes, I'm sure. You've always got to advertise, even in the games. Chaotic Neutral. Which way are they going to go here? Toe Jam got that level 1 shackle up. They're rotating towards the top, but BSJ senses something's wrong and spots absolutely nobody at that top rune, and he will not get ganked by this. The smoke will run out, and it looks like the side of the Radiant will get 3 bounty runes for themselves straight off the bat, because nobody was bot lane as well. So a very obvious smoke, I would argue, John, from Chaotic Neutral. They tried to go for a quick first blood. Unfortunately for them, though, it does not work out.
Yeah, I feel like they hesitated a bit too much. They weren't quite sure where they wanted to walk at first, which really cost them. Once you pop that smoke, you have to be certain where you want to go, and when you dilly-dally like that, you just kind of waste that opportunity.
Boris?
Ooh, lovely hook.
Mid lane, ROOONS is going to end up dropping very early on. Boris showing off his hook play. That was quick, John. Doesn't get much quicker than that.
Yeah. I would argue you could be quicker, Mike, but that's a different topic, I think.
Top lane, BSJ in a bit of trouble. He actually has not skilled anything quite yet, and he'll go for the arrow now. Actually gets the PA as well, so he's going to be able to do a bit of chip damage on this PA. But now Shackle again from Toe Jam. Ultimate does not have the Blink Strike yet, and so they get no harassment off. Boris is also there. The hook will end up connecting Ultimate. He can't get out of this one, surely. He'll run through the trees. The arrow was available, but there was no angle for it. Now Shackle onto the Pudge as well, so Boris could be in a bit of trouble, but then the arrow connects on the Shadow Shaman. Toe Jam now, copying a bit of harassment. A lot of action going on already at this top lane. Ultimate going to continue the chase, but while all this is going on, like, he's not farming at all. And BSJ, he throws an arrow or two out, but he continues hitting those creeps. So some nice space creation from Boris.
Yeah, that's definitely something you have to watch out for when you're playing PA. Don't get too distracted by pumping out Harass with Stifling Dagger. It actually doesn't do too much against heroes early on. The damage is just kind of meh. You really want to use that to secure last hits for yourself rather than pump out Harass. You know, it's not that great as a lane harassing tool against most heroes. There are some situations where it's fine. I think in this situation, you just secure your farm. You're not playing mid PA. You're not going to be a tempo setter. You're already hard carry PA. So you do want to have some items flowing your way, some good farm.
I'd have to agree with you. Top lane again. Still, Boris shows himself from that Pudge. He's just going to stick around there. He hasn't even got mana for the hook. Oh, now he does. He mangoes up for this. He's got that level 1 rod as well. He's just going to run up to ultimate. Boris, hook is there as well, but immediately he'll blink out. Now BSJ misses the arrow after the leap. A nice attempt though. An ultimate. Well, he's going to have to eat some tangos. He's got no salves available for himself. And Boris is going to stick around. He only needs a bit more mana to have a hook shot again. And so he'll probably just wait that one out. Ultimate though, he's going to have a very uncomfortable laning stage if this keeps up.
Yeah, he's already having an uncomfortable laning stage. He's 5-1. BSJ is 13-3, and he's had a good time. The PA has definitely not, Mike. No. And Mike, I have to remind you again, and I hate reminding you, Mike, because you just forget. It's meat hook, not hook shot.
Did I say hook shot, did I?
Yes. It's the millionth time you've done it. Are you dyslexic by chance, Mike?
Ultimate gonna be in trouble. He'll blink out. Why can't you just let me say it, John?
No, I can't let you say it, Mike. I can't. Bothers me, Mike. You know, there's one lane we haven't talked about, Mike. This bot lane with Monkeys Forever and that Storm Spirit safe. It's actually doing a lot of work. They're not... I feel like they're not applying pressure to him at all.
Well, it's hard too, right? You've got to treat... In fact, hold on a minute. Annihilate. Solo kill onto ROOONS. So the Clinks ends up going down by a solo Jakiro. Not exactly sure how that one happened, John, but the dual breath and the liquid fire doing a lot of work.
Yeah, that's something people fail to realize about Jakiro. He does a lot of damage early on if you're not careful. Especially if you max, if you go like this, 2-0-3.
Oh, bot
It
lane.
is a lot of damage. Whoa.
Monkeys forever. Gonna turn around, and this Earthshaker gonna be in a lot of trouble. Merciful turning around again. Monkeys forever does not back out. And that'll be it for that. Top
Yeah,
lane.
I think
Ult.
that's,
Never mind, John. You keep going.
I think that's the issue when you're laning against a Storm with two melee, two melee heroes. You don't really apply harass when there's a Storm Spirit and the Silencer together. I'm not sure how you actually trade favorably at all in that situation.
Well, John, to make matters even worse, the side of Team Runes, they end up getting all the bounty runes, which, is part of their name. I'm sure they do focus on those runes quite a lot, John, but 4 bounty runes at the 5-minute mark, that is not great to give away to a team like this.
Yeah, it's definitely not. That early game net worth advantage is just growing wider and wider by the minute, Mike. 4K now at 5 minutes in. I think that's one of the wider gaps we've seen in a long time, Mike.
It is a pretty big gap.
Radiant structures are fortified.
We'll see how they try to slow this down, but I mean, they're trying to harass Monkeys forever at the bot lane. They can only do so much. He still looks very, very healthy. He's got plenty of regen available for himself. Meanwhile, top lane, there may be a hook attempt. Boris is there. Toe Jam, going to be chased down. There's the rot. Hex is onto him, but Toe Jam should end up dropping. Boris is going to continue this chase. Does get the hook. We'll get the kill. Now Ultimate. Going to try and find a return kill here. Can he get it though? He gets arrowed. It's a nice one at that. Now the rod as well. Boris playing around with him, and he'll get away with a secondary kill onto BSJ. And now it's a 4-0, 6k net worth lead. Merciful tries to jump in and help out against BSJ. It seems Toe Jam also comes in. And they'll rotate all the 3 heroes back up top to try and shut this down a bit. But I don't think Merciful being here is going to bother BSJ too much at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of right-click harass coming out from Merciful, but yeah, BSJ is fine. He has a leap. He has 2 leap charges. Meanwhile, over at mid, Mike, while that was all happening, Annihilate just takes the mid tower. And he's pushing a tier 2 now, too.
Yeah, he's just going to take a tier 2 apparently, and it's one of those things, right, where that you don't know which lane to defend. Like, do you give farm to the PA, or do you defend the mid lane, or do you try and shut down the Storm Spirit bot lane? Like, Annihilate now, he's got the Val Discord up as well. He takes the tier 2 tower, and that'll be it. He'll just walk out of there. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's 2 towers down at 7 minutes in. A completely dead lane at mid. 7 minutes in, Mike. 8k network lead now for Runes. And it's not looking good for the Dire side right now.
No. To make matters worse, Monkeys Forever ends up getting a solo pick off onto the Earthshaker. And the mid lane going to continue being pushed in. There will be a quick pause, and it looks like Monkeys Forever does end up disconnecting, but I mean, at least that gives us time to talk about this lead. 8k net worth. Again, we're at 7.5 minutes in. And I mean, this is... I haven't seen a lead this big in a long, long time. Mind you, this is open qualifiers, of course. We can't be too harsh on the side of Chaotic Neutral. Again, they are up against the number 1 seeded team in this qualifier. But man, this is a big lead.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. As you mentioned, I don't think we've seen this number in a while. I'm not sure if we've even seen this kind of number in our open qualifier coverage. Maybe in the early rounds, round 1, round 1 to 8, maybe. But this is definitely concerning for Chaotic Neutral. They do have ways of recovering, but that does rely on your PA to be at least ready to farm or ready to fight, which is not happening soon. Still level 4 in that PA. Clinks is sort of ready with level 6 up. The issue is, right now he's just running around with an Aquila. No boots, no soul ring yet. And I'm not sure how much of a threat you can pose as a Clinks without those items up. Earthshaker as well, it's still level 4. Yeah, it's a tricky spot to be in for Chaotic Neutral. I'd say right now maybe try to focus on one aspect of the game and play around that. You can't quite be all over the map right now, like what they've been doing recently. You have to kind of focus on what you want to do instead of responding all the time, being pulled along by runes. Because then you're playing into their game plan. You're playing their game, not your own. So you just really have to stick to what you want to do, what your team wants to do, and try to achieve that.
We'll see if they can get that done. I mean, as it stands right now, even if they are going to try and, go for a quick team fight, they're going to kind of have to. This mid tower, I don't think they're stopping. I Annihilate, level 7. Again, the Veil is already up. I don't see why he stops. He's got max liquid fire right now. There just feels like there's nothing they can do about him. Like, this Jakiro is just going to keep pushing.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. He has no real reason to pull back. His team can team fight without him, and they can sustain their lanes without him. He can keep applying pressure in his mid lane to make sure those side lanes are not contested as much, or if, they do decide to contest that mid lane, yeah, they can push the side lanes out. If they don't come back for that mid lane, well, it's a free tier 3 at sub 10 minutes, Mike.
Let's see what he does. Like you said, no real reason to pull back on this Jakiro, but we'll see what they decide. I mean, there's plenty of towers across the map he can go for otherwise. But then again, going for those towers, he might be taking away a bit of farm from his other cores, so perhaps he'll just, keep doing what he's doing. The admin letting the side of ROOONS know that there is 7 minutes worth of pause time left. And of course, I'm sure the side of Team Rooms have no power over the DC. They've just got to wait it out, and hopefully Monkeys Forever gets back in ASAP. As an Australian, John, I'm aware of what happens when you DC. Like, things go a bit crazy. Things are bad.
This is much more of a Southeast Asian thing, isn't it? Feel right at home, Mike. Nice, lovely morning here. A nice long pause to get us started, and a lot of pings from our Pudge.
Yeah. Boris is apparently not happy with Jubei for some reason. I'm not 100% sure what he's done, but he's not happy with him.
Yeah, that does sound like my life in a nutshell. People just come up to me, they're unhappy. I'm never sure why. They never tell me why, Mike, and you just kind of live with it.
No, fair enough. Thanks for the depressing story, John. It does look like ROOONS are ready to go. Monkeys Forever reconnects. And we do have the go-ahead. Again, we'll keep an eye on the mid lane because we'll see what Annihilate is planning to do here. And he moves forward. So they are going to go for this tier 3 tower. With that max liquid fire, it's a lot of damage coming out. And they're already 1/4 of the way there. They are going to try and go for a gank attempt. Rowan gets started. Nice Fisher as well. Can they take this Jakiro down? He's got a TP. I mean, the problem is the Fishers blocked them in, John. I thought it was an okay Fisher. Apparently it wasn't. Boris, meanwhile, will just walk out of there. Merciful will TP in. He can't really stop Boris here. He hasn't got the root available, and that'll be it. Meanwhile, top lane looks like Ultimate was under attack. Now Toe Jam will end up dropping. The first bit of int stolen on this silencer as well. And Ultimate will be forced to TP on that PA back to the fountain. But this will mean that tier 1 tower top is going to go to the way of Team ROOONS.
Yeah, there's no way you defend that anymore. You just kind of give it up. Maybe play around that bot lane because it's still open. Still have 2 towers up in that bot lane. Secure that bottom area. Get a D ward on that bounty rune area. And just play around that area of the map because everywhere else is kind of shut down now, Mike.
Absolutely. Annihilate continues moving through that mid tower. It's almost gone. Rowan is there. There's the ice path coming out onto Toe Jam. They are going to hex up Boris, but he has a haste rune. He's just going to walk his way out. Now he hooks in Toe Jam as well. And Toe Jam, he's shackling, but he's dead. Boris doesn't want to be the first one to give away the first kill, and he actually denies himself. Now the buyback as well. So still no kills on the board. for the side of Chaotic Neutral. They might find one in Annihilate. Can they hold him down long enough? He Ice Paths. He hits 3 as well. He's actually going to try and fight this, but this could be it. Annihilate making the run for it. Do they have a dagger? Yes, they do. He gets fissured as well. Annihilate, he drops the macro. It's not going to be enough. He bottles up throughout all this. They're trying to give the kill to the PA, and they'll finally get it. It'll be Merciful who grabs it for himself. Now Ultimate trying to outrun the hook. It will not be successful, though. And Ultimate may just get ticked down by the rod. In fact, no, he won't. But Boris is not going to give up. He continues the chase. Nice blink. Back to Saneka. Oh, I shouldn't say Sanekio. Shackles and Dagger is there. Boris, he's in a lot of trouble. Global Silence comes out, but it's not going to help. And no, it will, in fact. The Deny comes out again. And Boris taking his own life for the second time this game.
I wish I could do that, Mike.
Jesus, John, it's meant to be a positive stream. Look at the pings coming out. Jubei is copping a lot of slack here, John. I don't know what he's
That's
done.
what I like to see. That's what I like to see, Mike. Someone suffering as much as I do, and I have no idea why. I think maybe it's because he's just up here in the top lane farming. I guess that's a reason to get mad.
Oh, Annihilate. Mid lane in trouble again. They're going to surround him. The dagger comes out as well. He might end up dropping for the second time this game. And Chaotic Neutral. They do manage it. Sinokio doing some good jobs with the permastun essentially. This Chikiro, I don't think he can continue returning this mid lane, but he will buy back. It was only a 20-second respawn time, but that's too much for him. Time is money, John. He's got no time to waste.
Time is money, Mike. Absolutely. Yeah, it's fine. I guess. I mean, Pudge bought back earlier too.
Sinokio.
Interesting choices. Ooh.
Bot lane, they do jump on him, but they'll let him go. They did run out of mana on Monkeys Forever, although he does have a regeneration rune.
Oh,
Now,
no, Jubei.
Rowan start. Jubei, he's going to get pinged out of his mind, but the Clinks gives up.
Juve lives.
Oh, Jubei. Now the board lightning. Sinokio in trouble. Is this a bit of a bait? Toe Jam is there. Now the Fisher, the Shackle as well. They've got the Storm. And Monkeys Forever goes down. Boris not going to be happy about this one. Jubei finds a return kill. Now Boris with the hook as well. Under the Shadow Shaman. And Boris, he gets hexed up, but Toe Jam should end up dropping, and he does. Boris going to make a run for it now, but Ultimate is there with Merciful. He jukes them around. The TP available in just a second. The dagger is there. They root him in place, but he is very tanky, and he's got help. And Annihilate doesn't even bother trying to help the Pudge. He just continues with this Rax, John. Again, no time to waste for Annihilate.
Absolutely no time, Mike. Time is money.
It is.
So, you know, Annihilate doesn't care. He's just sticking mid, taking buildings.
Gets fished. The dagger's there. Rowan's not going to get started with the strafe. The Ice Path does connect. Now they jump into the Ice Path. Annihilate in a lot of trouble. He's falling very, very low. No one's coming in to help. In fact, no Monkeys comes in. He does not manage to get the Clinks. Sinokio, he doesn't even need to fish. The dagger ends up getting Annihilate. Meanwhile, Jubei, I should say, end up getting Rowan stun in the background. Monkeys Forever about to get Ultimate.
We're unpaused?
Yeah, there's a pause because there's a DC on the Jakiro. Annihilate will end up reconnecting throughout all this. Question mark coming out from Merciful, but the pause was unpaused. Sinokio, the Shackle is there onto Boris. He's in a lot of trouble right now. Where's the help? The Moonlight Shadow will be enough, and now Jubei moving forward again on this Silencer. Meanwhile, Hook onto Toe Jam. He gets taken down. Sinokio actually might tick out to this curse, John. He's so close, but not close enough. He will tick down before the fountain. Now the buyback's coming out from Toe Jam. They want this Rax very early on. It's almost going to be sub 15 minutes. They'll jump onto Jubei on that Silencer. Now the hook from Boris again, saving the day. The Arcane Curse comes in, but now Monkeys Forever could be in trouble. He will board lining out of there.
Boris. He was doing that a while ago as well to Annihilate. He was trying to block him before he died to the dagger.
Well, things are going well for the side of Team ROOONS. Chaotic Neutral, I mean, they have successfully defended in a sense. Like, they've lost their range racks, but again, number 1 seeded team, they're 15k net worth behind. I'm surprised they've been able to defend.
Yeah, they are putting out a fairly successful defense. You do manage to defend your melee racks. You have the Treant Protector to heal it back up. So, you know, if they keep this game long enough, I guess they can just hold. It is pushing uphill against the Treant.
Bot lane, he cops the coup de grace. He's in massive trouble right now, though. Oh, Echo comes in. They will get him taken care of. Sinokio will end up dropping, though. A 2-for-1. Hook actually perfect onto Merciful. Boris really playing out of his mind on this Pudge right now. And I don't believe there was any wards to scout that out either. That was a blind hook. Meanwhile, Monkeys Forever, Toe Jam. The Serpent wards have been dropped. He's actually out of mana. Monkeys Forever gonna end up dropping here, it seems. They try to smoke him out, but he's not successful. Boris, meanwhile, gets very low himself. In fact, oh my. He does end up dropping. Toe Jam finally gets a bit of revenge onto Boris, and he gets a mega kill streak on the Shadow Shaman John. Meanwhile, Jabay ends up dropping to Ultimate. Where the hell was he?
Getting pinged. I guess that's why he was being pinged out, Mike. I do want to point out, Mike, that was not a blind hook. There was a ward. This is why I don't play pubs with you anymore. There's a ward, Mike. There's a nice uphill ward. Unfortunately, no preemptive detection for that coming out from chaotic neutral, so Boris just gets to have some more fun.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Top lane. Sinokio. Annihilate is there. He's going to get started with the Ice Path and the Jewel Breath, and he's actually going to go for this kill into the Earthshaker solo right now. Merciful is there to help out, but they will have to back off. The Shakira is way too strong. Meanwhile, mid lane, the board lining misses everything, but they are going to chase the PA. He will blink out of there, and Rowan Star is okay as well. Sinokio have to back off. Global Silence is there. The board lining again, but Monkeys Forever, he's falling low on mana now. He still doesn't need it, apparently. He dodges the stun, and he will get the kill. Now they jump on Monkeys Forever, trying to get this kill back. The strafe is there, but Rowan Star is also dead, and Toe Jam, he's going to be the next target. Boris takes that one for himself. And this tier 3 top tower is going to be under siege. I'd love to see how much strength Boris has actually gotten from that flesh heap, but he hasn't leveled it up yet.
Dire's top barracks are under attack.
Toe Jam getting, actually tipping the PA, and now the Earthshaker does end up dropping. Annihilate continues moving forward onto Merciful.
Dire's top barracks
That'll
are
be
under attack.
essentially the second Rax of the game. The melee Rax is still there mid lane, but they're going to go fountain diving. The hook is there onto Merciful. Nice overgrowth comes out, but the Serpent wards are down as well, and well, they'll get rid of the tree, and now look at this. They're getting melted with that Macro Pyre. Ultimate, the only one left alive, and that Arcane Curse hurting along with that Macro. In fact, they jump in, and Ultimate is now done. That's a full team wipe. Boris is there to try and help out Jabay, who does not end up dropping. In fact, no, maybe he will. They will get the Vortex in time, and Jabay will actually TP in front of him, and then cancel it off. And then the pings immediately start into BSJ.
Dire's middle barracks are under
Hook shot from Boris.
Mike, it's meat hook, Mike.
Oh my, alright, meat hook onto... John, if you don't correct me, they may never notice that I keep saying hook shot.
No, they've noticed before, Mike. We've had this happen before. We've had this happen before, Mike. Multiple times. I'm not having it again, Mike.
In the background, he goes after Jabay, and they will get him. He literally just stands there and takes it. Meanwhile, Monkeys Forever moving forward after Toe Jam. He's in trouble. Echo comes in, but they still can't find the kill apart from only onto Jabay. Merciful gonna be chased down. Trent in trouble. Boris, he has a hook, doesn't need it.
Dire's middle
Macro was dropped, and BSJ on a dominating spree, and this is I mean, it's been GG for a while, let's be fair, but a very entertaining game.
Dire's middle
They're going to try and finish this sub 20 minutes. Annihilate going to be in a bit of trouble. There's the coup de grace. The arrow does end up connecting onto the clinks. The Meteor Hammer coming down as well from Boris. Doesn't even need to throw the hook out. And again, they drop onto Annihilate. They will get that kill. The Fisher is there as well. Monkeys Forever falling very low. The Ancient is falling while all this is happening. Meanwhile, Boris falling low again. Sinokio trying to go for this kill. They will find him, but Boris will find the return. And again, in fact, it was a deny, and he buys back immediately, and BSJ ends up going down now. Monkeys Forever trying to back out of there. The Ancient halfway gone. Boris smokes up by himself, John. He's on a one-man mission. He's going to run towards that Ancient. Monkeys Forever is there to help out as well if necessary. Merciful going to get started, but Merciful is dead. Now Boris, who's he going to dismember? In fact, no, he goes for the Meteor Hammer play, and he gets it as well. The Clinks gets stunned up, and he's gone. And now Toe Jam, he's seen this situation before. He gets hooked. Merciful going to come in with the Leech Seed. That Ancient still falling while all this is happening. Now Boris, he did just buy back, so he can't really... Well, he can afford to die back, but he doesn't want to. Easy comes out from Toe Jam. He's got that the wrong way around, but he's not lying. Merciful, gonna be in trouble, gets dismembered. Boris again with the great hooks. Sinokio in trouble, ultimate jumping in, but that rot is too much, and he denies himself again. Sinokio will end up dropping as well. And again, we see a full team wipe. ROOONS gonna come back in to try and defend this. Monkeys Forever running around the Ancient. He is going to get strafed, and they do take him down. Meanwhile, the Hex Shackle onto Annihilate, but the Ancient is gone. And Team ROOONS, would you believe it, John? They've managed to pull this off. Chaotic neutral. Unfortunately for them, John, they're out.
Yeah, I mean, that is the nature of best of ones. A really, unexpected victory from ROOONS. Who am I kidding? It did go the way that you'd probably expect. ROOONS takes it 39-12, 20 minutes in. First tower was gone. First lane was completely wiped by 7 minutes. Jakiro just had a free run. 29k net worth. Going the way of ROOONS at 20 minutes in, Mike. That's a huge gap. Again, that's probably not a very common gap to see, but it was entertaining.
Definitely was. I can't doubt that, Don. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Thank you to Chaotic Neutrals for putting on a bit of a show for us. Of course, congratulations to Team ROOONS. They will be going on. John, as we're speaking, I'm trying to find out who the next team is that they're going to be playing up against, because there is a best of 3 coming up after this. Mind you, we do have to wait that one out, because, I mean, they did just finish in 20 minutes. So it's kind of unexpected that the others will do the same. However, it looks like we may be getting relatively close. Ladies and gentlemen, give me a moment. We'll be back to see who Team ROOONS is versing in the second round, or the round of 32. It is MLP Dota, John X5. Consider following us on Twitter if you enjoy. We'll be right back in just a moment. right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our first best of three for the day. We are in round 32 of the NADCL Open Qualifiers. It is, of course, MLP Dota, joined by John X5. John, Team ROOONS took a very, very, very convincing win 20 minutes in over Chaotic Neutral. Now they're up against Nothing Too Edgy. How do you feel like this series is going to go?
It's probably going to be a bit closer than the first one for sure. I mean, Nothing Too Edgy did have to play their way up to the round of 32 as well, which means they've probably got some chops in them. And I do believe a couple of those names are familiar to me. Mike, through common friends, I suppose you could say that. A couple of names are familiar, and I do believe they play play some decent Dota, so should be an interesting matchup here. I do still give ROOONS, a bit of an advantage, but it's going to be a bit closer. It's definitely not going to be as much of a ruffled stomp as the first game was. So, I'd say Nothing Too Edgy is definitely a level above, I suppose, Chaotic Neutrals.
Yeah. For all of you that didn't know, and let me correct myself this time around, John. We should congratulate ROOONS for qualifying to the Dream League Minor. Of course, being one of the teams that qualified for that minor, of course, they're looking pretty strong right now. Again, they finished the previous best of 1 in 20 minutes. This will be a best of 3, though, so if they do take over in game 1, Nothing Too Edgy will have the chance to come back in game number 2 and try to force it to a game 3. But for the moment, I guess we can't really underestimate Nothing Too Edgy. Of course, they are here to play. This is I guess it's pretty serious, right? Like, the whole reason this league's here, John, is so that these, I should say, smaller teams and maybe a slightly more unknown players will essentially get to work their way up through the NA region, grab some sponsors themselves, good practice. There's a lot to this. Like, winning this kind of league does mean that you're kind of put in the spotlight a bit in the NA region anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely significant. It does help build up your chops. As you mentioned, it does help put your name out there. It's a considerable amount of practice across, different teams in the region, probably the top teams, top tier 2 teams in the region. So you do get a good amount of practice in. Going back to the draft, Mike, Nothing Too Edgy does open up with the Lycan hero we've kind of seen fade away, I want to say, Mike. We personally haven't really casted too many Lycan games recently, and whenever we have, it hasn't ended well for the team that picked Lycan, if I do recall most of my games, Mike.
Most of the time, yes. Most of the time, it doesn't work too well, but I should say, especially against the Necro-Io combo, which we like to always say it's pretty much unkillable. And, I mean, against Team ROOONS, that's a pretty potent combo to be up against. Like, Team ROOONS, they're not playing around this time.
Yeah, they're definitely not. They're pulling out all the stops, just going to the Necro-Io, which is a really strong combination, as you mentioned, Mike. Io can just sustain the Necrophos. Necro can go into Ghost Shroud to boost his regen. He gets boosted regen from Io, which gets boosted again by his Ghost Shroud. And it's a bit wacky, Mike. The one thing I want to see come out is maybe a Pugna. Just so you have that potential for teeter and life drain and just healing someone up for a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, unfortunately the Pugna was banned out by ROOONS, the first ban, so we won't be seeing that, but it would be hella fun to see. And of course, Team ROOONS, third pickup now, they go for the Lina. So I Annihilate, going to be playing a much more serious mid hero. And Nothing Too Edgy, they pick up a Tiny to go up against that, so no time wasted. They go for the Sven pickup on ROOONS. Tell me about this, John. Why go the Sven?
It's an interesting pickup. It's not something you see too often, at least, again, from the regions we've covered, Mike. Definitely not a hero that is popular right now. I think it works out well. You do have the Io to kind of fix your issues with kiting a bit, just a bit. Does tank up the Sven even more, and it's already a very naturally tanky hero. I do like the response from Nothing Too Edgy. The Phoenix can cause trouble for the Sven. Although Lena's pretty good, Lena's pretty good against Phoenix. Has a nice steroid in her to boost her attack speed. Really tear through that egg if it does come out. But I'm liking the team fight coming out from Nothing Too Edgy. I do like Rune's single target pickoff as well. So it's a bit hard to toss it up here, I'd say. As long as Nothing Too Edgy plays around her cooldowns, Phoenix Egg, the Global Silence, and the Wolf Form from Lycan, I think they can probably get quite a fair bit from this match. I mean, the Sven, I think it's a good hero here. The Io can buff you up, as I mentioned, speed up your attack speed, make you tankier. You have Necrophos who probably won't die, and Lena who can kind of deal with the Phoenix. Just right now, they do kind of lack team fight, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll wait up this final ban and we'll get to see what comes next, but it's going to be interesting to see how all this pans out. I really want to see how this Fen goes. Like, we just don't see it anymore. It feels like it's going to be one of those, one of those carries that's kind of up and coming, but still, it is very weird in this meta, and we do see an Invoker last pick. So, Invoker up against that Lena. This draft looks interesting to me, John. I mean, Nothing Too Edgy. They do look okay in the team fight. How are you feeling about this Invoker pick?
It's interesting. My one worry is that a lot of these heroes are very XP dependent, Mike. The Invoker definitely wants fast XP, the Lycan wants fast XP, the Tiny wants fast XP, and then your two supports want a lot of XP as well. Silencer wants a fast 6, Phoenix wants a fast 6. I'm not sure if there's enough space in the map to get you the best timings in each hero, so you're going to have to sack one or two of them in terms of level prioritization. It's going to be a bit iffy, I have to say, when it comes down to that. Whereas Runes, you can kind of sack the IO. Yeah, this does bring a question to mind, Mike. They're not going to last pick a support, are they?
They may. I mean, it's kind of confusing, right? Like, they last picked the Jakiro last game, but that was a core Jakiro. This time around, who would go support? Like, what is this, a support Lena or a support Sven? Are these mind games coming out from Runes?
I mean, that's really old meta for both of the heroes, but they were used in that role before, Mike. It's just years old. I think Sven probably goes all the way back to Dota 1, really.
Well,
Lena was a support for a while in Dota 2, I guess, but Sven, I definitely think support Sven faded out when Dota 2 came out in 2011, 2010. Definitely wasn't quite a thing.
I mean, I guess the bonus armor would help. Well, they go for the
Oh,
Jakiro. So
okay.
what's going on, John?
Well,
it's a mid Jakiro.
It's I Annihilate again. So it's a support Lena.
Interesting. Boris says, give me the Lena. He wanted the Pudge last time. How do you feel about this? You said it was very old meta. I guess it works well up against the Phoenix still, right? Like, you can still get rid of that egg really easily. Do you like this? I mean, I can kind of sense that you're a bit shocked.
It's interesting. It's a bit confident coming out from Runes. I can see the lanes working out, actually. I think the Jakiro against Invoker, you never underestimate that Jakiro. It's gonna pump out a lot of harass. I've seen this matchup before. Unless the Invoker gets some support, the Jakiro can run away. Like, he just deals way too much magic damage early on. He has pretty significant range, Mike, as a hero. So the Invoker can't even really pump back the harass, if ever it comes down to that. Your two supports of Silencer and Phoenix don't really have control in the early game. You're going to be depending on your Tiny for nothing too serious. Overall, I feel like Runes has the better lineup, although it's definitely strange. We're seeing a support Lena, which, honestly doesn't happen too much anymore. It's refreshing to see again, I have to say. It takes me back, Mike. I used to play support Lena. So, it brings back some memories, Mike, of when I used to find stuff fun.
Well, you see the confidence from Boris, John. He's gone 3 mangoes. So, we expect a lot to be coming out of this laner. We did see a lot from Boris last game. I mean, those hooks coming out from that Pudge were fantastic. I can't even remember him dying to a hero. Every time he died, he ended up denying himself. So, we'll see if he can replicate that kind of performance on this hero instead. Blue, a very nice Observer Ward coming out very early on at that top lane. Wants to keep that vision out. Of course, it does appear we'll be seeing the off-lane Tiny, so Lampercat will be on that. Monkeys forever. Poor Jubei. He's gonna be sticking around.
I wonder if Boris is gonna be pinging Jubei again.
BSJ actually tipping P2-2. PT2, excuse me. BSJ saying hello to Blue as well. They want these bounty runes. And it does.
Take him.
Yeah. They got 3 of them.
Couldn't get 4, Mike.
BSJ is in trouble. They do indeed get 4. Thank you for that, John. I mean, it is Team Runes. It makes sense. They push for these bounty runes, and I mean, we've heard it a few times from the T1 analyst, John. These runes matter. They matter a lot. In fact, Bulldog himself was the first one to point out how important they were.
Yeah, it's really pivotal for your team's economy in the early game, and it still matters in the late game. It's just basically almost like a free tower every 5 minutes.
Top lane Lampercat copying a lot of harassment from Boris, and I mean, this is one of those strong points about the laner, playing that support role. Like, you can stand so far back and harass them like this, and there's nothing they can do about it. And now they do stun out. Boris does not go for the follow-up. Another thing we forgot to mention, that again, a very old school kind of combo to have is the double stun lineup with the Sven. You got that Lena Sven combo, like you can pretty much stun someone for a good 3 to 4 seconds.
Yeah, it's definitely a very simple lineup to execute, simple laning duo to execute. You start with Sven, follow up with Lena. Yeah, it's just simple, although Boris is landing his stuns without setup anyway.
Yeah. You see bot lane Jubei, he ended up falling very, very low, but he will tango his way up. The Sunstrike, they actually shared the damage between him and Monkeys Forever. So very clever, being aware that that Sunstrike may be coming in. Meanwhile, it looks like Boris and Blue are having a bit of fun with each other in the jungle. Blue really wants to get in there for that XP of the neutral camp, but can't really get there. He loses most of his HP and he only has a salve left. So the regen starting to run low for the side of the Radiant, though they will jump onto BSJ. He's copped a lot of damage. He'll Warcry out of there, although Blue jumps in. Now the stun goes out as well. Sunstrike is actually not going to be there. It was right up there. And BSJ, he may be first blood, and he is. Blue picks it up. I was not expecting that one. Now Boris trying to make a run for it. Luckily for him, the Avalanche was not available, but a very surprising first blood coming out in this game already.
Yeah, I think that comes down to Boris. They knew Boris was doing a pull, so they figured that was the best time to build BSJ. Sven is, he's a fairly easy target to pick off once you get a couple of spells on him. Drop him a bit low early game. I mean, BSJ is he was only level 2, now he's level 3, but Sven is pretty easy to deal with. Does not have an escape, really.
Oh,
and Boris now.
Yep, he does throw out the Light Strike Array. Lampercat does not actually have the toss available. He has a tree throw, and Boris, he'll be the second death of the game. Lampercat finding a secondary kill very early on, John. This is a great start for the side of the Radiant.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good in the kill board. I'd say it's still kind of worrying when you look at the last hits, Mike. For example, mid lane, INL Light is 21-10. Poop Kid is 8-3, Mike. 8-3. As an invoker against Jakiro. Again, this lineup, this matchup in mid actually favors Jakiro early on. Because that's where Jakiro is strongest.
Bot lane, PT2. Gonna be in trouble. The spirits come out to slow him down. The death pulse as well. And PT2. He will end up dropping. Jubei picks that one up for himself. Meanwhile, Mio, he has to get the hell out of there. TP straight back to the fountain. Meanwhile, mid lane, Poop Kid should just end up falling, though. He does Fairy Fire up. And he will survive. Now Annihilate might be in trouble. Icarus Dive actually cancelled off. They'll turn it back around onto Blue, and Blue should just end up falling, and he will. Very nice light strike away from Boris to ensure that Icarus Dive did go nowhere.
Yeah, and you know, just like that, it's now 2-2 on the scoreboard, Mike. But the one thing that's not working out for Nothing Too Serious is, again, that early lane farm. It's not in their favor at all. Sure, you kill off BSJ. It's a Sven. He is gonna farm back up later on, unless you severely slow down this early game farm, which honestly I don't think they've achieved that. He's 23-7 now, 24-7. Tiny is keeping up fairly alright, 17-5, but yeah, this isn't really shutting down a core, I have to say, Mike.
Yeah, no, it's certainly not. Mid lane, Annihilate, maybe in trouble. There's the Cold Snap, Icarus Dive as well. With those Fire Spirits, he's falling very, very low, and they'll even steal some in off him. Boris is there to try and help out. Nice double Light Strike array. Dragon Slave was available, but the damage wasn't going to be enough to take down Poop Kid. And he'll just get back to farming, but I mean, like you said, in terms of last hits, they are very behind. In terms of kills, they seem to be keeping up quite well. In fact, they're slightly ahead. It's just a matter of whether they can translate that to some farm.
Yeah, it's not working out well. Again, as we used to mention before, these early game kills, they are great to have. They aren't really game-changing unless you just severely shut down one hero. If it's spread out like this, a couple of kills spread among 2-3 heroes, you're not really shutting any of them down, and you're not gaining too much early game from these kills either.
Well, they're trying to go after BSJ. Top lane, John. Look at BSJ. He's very low. He runs back in. One more right click may have done the job, but they didn't really expect BSJ to go back in like a madman. He managed to get out just barely. They'll go straight to that shrine and make sure he's all healthy with Jubei. Boris will join in as well. Still, things remain relatively even. The net worth only at a 1k advantage right now for the side of Team ROOONS. And may I remind you, John, last game around, they were about 6k ahead by this point. Top lane, they are making the dive onto Lampercat, but he will be fine. And Blue will be there to make sure he doesn't die, although Blue's got to be careful not to die himself. God's Strength is available, as well as the Stormhammer. And they will manage to get away safely. Mid lane.
Ooh.
Poop Kid stunned up. He throws the Cyclone out. Jewel Breath is there as well. They'll have to let him go for the moment, but Mio is there. His right clicks are doing a lot of damage. They did end up getting Blue at the top lane as well while all this was happening, and Mio will back off. Sunstrike will not end up connecting. Meanwhile, top lane, Lampercat ends up finding Jubei, but he will end up dropping to BSJ as well. And the mid lane also ends up dropping. Annihilate, of course, on that Jakiro. He's doing exactly what he did last game. He's just going to keep pushing out towers like this. And really, there's just nothing that the side of the Radiant can do about it.
Yeah, they're just slowly getting picked off, losing map control one by one, which is not really what you want and not what you expect when you have a Lycan in your draft, Mike. Usually at this point, the Lycan's the one threatening towers, but PT2 is still level 5, just about hit 6.
Annihilate, but falling very low. Boris might end up dropping, and he does. Annihilate also going to lose his life here, and they might even get Monkeys Forever. The Sunstrike will not end up connecting. Monkeys Forever trying to make a run. There's the wolf form coming out of PT2, and they will find Monkeys Forever. So some massive punishment coming out from the side of the Radiant. They were trying to push that bot tier 2 tower, John, but it doesn't work out. And now Jubei, he'll be alright. He'll walk out of there safely, but some very nice punishment coming out from this Radiant end.
Yeah, it definitely is. You just really wish you could translate that to taking objectives on the map. Right now, they are 2 towers behind in terms of map control, and you're playing with a Lycan. Your first wolf form doesn't translate to an objective, and now you just kind of have to jungle because you don't really have a safe lane to go to.
Does seem like Team ROOONS are going to continue this aggression. They'll even take some of that jungle from the Lycan. Now they go straight back to that tier 2. It just seems like they're not concerned whatsoever by that 3-man wipe.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Neo will be there with that Arcane Curse to try and slow this down a bit, but it's not going to be easy. PT2 will join in.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
This tower, with that liquid fire, it's just too hard to defend this. Like, you haven't got the heroes to do it. All they can do is just slow it down as much as possible and try to go for a deny attempt. And Light Strike Array from Boris will make sure that PT2 doesn't get it. Boris may end up losing his life, though. The Wolves are going to make the chase onto him. They should eventually get him, but PT2 going to be in trouble himself. He'll give his own life away for this. Meanwhile, Poop Kid trying to find Jabay. The Wolves still chasing. They will find him. So a 2-for-2 trade, essentially. It looks like the Tiny went down at the top lane as well while all that was happening. But a 9-6, 2k net worth lead to the side of the Dire. And Team ROOONS continuing to take over this game.
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like that's a worthwhile trade. You take that tier 2 objective, and you sacrifice your 2 supports. Definitely worthwhile to secure that kill on the safe laner, the enemy safe laner, and the enemy secondary support. Or
Monkeys forever. Top lane, Ghost Shroud has been committed. He tries to go for the TB. The Sunstrike will not be enough. So he will be straight back to that fountain. Meanwhile, John BSJ, we saw him pick up a Mask of Madness very early on, so now you've got to be concerned about this Sven, because he can dish out so much damage with that God Strength and the Mask of Madness very, very quickly.
yeah, he definitely can. I think the key thing with that Mom is that you can use it to farm fast as well. These creep waves just melt, shove out lane, go into the jungle, clear a camp out. Fairly safe.
Tower is under attack.
They should be fine throughout all this. In fact, he will tether. Sunstrike will be shared between the two. Sharing is caring. Jabay should be perfectly fine. Roshan even wants to take a swipe at this poor IO.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
He'll just follow BSJ up to those ancient creeps. Meanwhile, we move our attention to PT2. He's got that Helm of Dominator up now, and he is going to rush the Necro 3. So, I mean, the push is eventually going to come in. It's just a matter of whether they're going to have enough to really be able to take down Team ROOONS before they can push. Because Team ROOONS, I don't think they're going to allow you to take any towers for free.
Yeah, definitely not. I feel like if you're nothing too serious right now, you do want to play around your cooldowns. You want to play around Global Silence and Phoenix Egg.
We jump on Annihilate mid lane. The Egg committed as well. There's the toss, the double damage on Lampercat. They'll find another nice pickup. That core Jakira being taken down early on. Now top lane, they go and immediately try and defend the top tier 1 tower. Morris going to be in a spot of bother. Can they stun him up? Lampercat is there. He'll toss him up. That'll be a double kill for him. He still has that double damage rune while this is happening, mind you. Still, I mean, 3k net worth lead. It's still great for the side of Team ROOONS, but I've got to tell you, nothing too edgy. They're putting up a good fight here.
Yeah, they definitely are. They're trying their best. It's just not translating into any objectives yet. You know, they start pushing down mid. Top is being threatened in. Now they're shoving in top, and well, I guess there's no threat in the map right now. So hey, free top tower for them. Nice little recovery. First objective for them, and that should help clear up the map. Although,
yeah, Monkeys forever. Falling low, Sunstrike as well. End up connecting. Now the Sunray, he's in massive trouble. He needs some help. The toss is there, the Ghost Shroud is there as well, but Monkeys forever still alone throughout all this, and he will end up falling. They don't even bother trying to help him out. Meanwhile, Jubei, there was a relocate coming out, but I'm not sure exactly where he went.
it was probably cancelled by Global Silence, Mike. It is a channel spell now.
Fair point.
Dire's top tower
Top lane, going to be pushed in. BSJ will be there to defend this for his team. Sunstrike, mid lane, Annihilate again falling very, very low on this Jakiro. The Arcane Curse still ticking him down with that Cold Snap. This is a kill. And looks like Mio will just chase for it. In fact, no, not quite yet. Annihilate still alive. He will end up finally dropping. That Arcane Curse just lasting so long. Meanwhile, Monkeys forever. Gonna find a free kill. Death Pulse is there. Mio
Dire's middle tower is under
should
attack.
eventually drop. Although, hold on a minute. Sunray will not be enough. Monkeys forever will get away with that. Now Jubei and BSJ. Mid lane. They've got to be careful though, because Lampercat is there and ready and they will back off. The runes are up, and again, if there's one thing that Team Runes are great at, John, they take all the runes constantly.
I'd be disappointed if they didn't, Mike. Definitely not living up to that name if they didn't. So, good on them for always securing that objective. Again, it's pretty much almost like a, if you think of it this way, when you pick up all 4 runes for your team, that's basically a free tower's worth of gold going to every single one of the heroes on your team. So, controlling all 4 runes is always kind of important. At the very least, getting your own runes is kind of important in this game. In most, in Dota 2 now. And if you manage to secure all 4, again, that's a free objective worth of gold, which is significant every 5 minutes, Mike.
Oh, absolutely. Monkeys forever. Bot lane, going to be caught out. They will connect the Cyclone as well. Last word damage won't come in. Now the Ghost Shroud, but the Chaos Meteor dealing so much with that Sunray. Monkeys forever ends up falling again. Meanwhile, I Annihilate trying to push the mid lane a bit, but Lampercat is there. He wants to chase him down. He does connect with the Avalanche, and again, Mio shows up. The toss is available. He just needs the range of Sunstrike as well. I Annihilate ends up dropping. And Lampercat doing a fantastic job on this Tiny. 15-7 now. The net worth remains the way of Team Runes, but John, you've got to be impressed by this.
Yeah, it's definitely a coordinated set of pickoffs coming out from the Radiant side. They're finding kills on this map. They are ahead in kills. It's just, again, they can't translate this to objectives.
Well, they're going to find blue. BSJ will pick up the Phoenix. I agree with your sentiment though. Like, I mean, we've said it multiple times now, but if you can't get any towers out of it, there's just, or Roshan, or even just bounty runes, there's no real point to all these kills, I guess. BSJ, he's been farming the whole time. He's got a Sergeant Yashrop now as well. He's top of the net worth by a long shot. 3k ahead of the secondary, which is actually the Invoker. Now, Mio. Can they set up for the biggest net worth kill of their lives? Avalanche is there. They want the IO gone, and they get him. Now BSJ. He's going to try and get out of here, but that Chaos Meteor dealing so much damage. And they'll find him as well. Again, though, you look at all the creeps in the map, and they can't take anything. Like, they can farm, but they cannot take anything off this map.
Yeah, that's really the issue here. They find these pickoffs, but they can't translate it to anything. However, I'm starting to get a bit worried for Runes. They've given away 11 kills, Mike. Oh no, that's not 11. I don't know how to count. That's 9 kills. Right? Yeah, that's 9 kills given away. And it's a bit concerning. 2k advantage left, and that's mainly from the towers and all the runes you've been taking. So you're starting to bleed some gold away here, Mike. Not a good plan. Oh.
A dominating performance.
He's forever. Ends up dropping. They're going to go after Lampercat now. God Strength has been committed. That Sunray keeping him healthy. Now the toss back as well. Jubei wants to keep going, and BSJ says, get the hell out of here, son. It looks like PT2 was there to join in with that wolf form, but he will also back off. Meanwhile, top lane, I Annihilate in trouble. Poop Kid, Sunstrike will be the wrong way. A nice little juke out from Annihilate. They He'll get back to that fountain safely. They're trying to push in this tier 1 mid tower, but it's just so hard to commit. Mind you, though, they do pick up a Necro 2 now onto PT2, so once that Necro 3's up, I mean, if they win another team fight like they've been doing for the past 5 or 10 minutes, that Necro 3, it's going to make it really fast to be able to take any tower you want.
Yeah, it definitely will. I think the one issue I'm seeing with ROOONS right now is that, again, their lineup is really focused on single target pickoffs with Necro, with Lina, with the IO to take you around the map. They just haven't really maximized it. I mean, right now, Jubei has just stuck to BSJ. Accelerating his farm, sure, but not really achieving anything on the map as well.
Middle tower is under attack.
He's had that relocate available for a bit now. But they're just not willing to commit. BSJ gonna back off. He's got a Blink Dagger up and they'll smoke up immediately. They've got that initiation now with that Storm Hammer. And the runes are up. But well, they won't actually get the bottom bounty runes. They'll leave them for the moment. They don't want to waste that smoke duration. Who are they gonna find? Poop Kid. Doesn't quite show himself. And it does look like this smoke is going to be somewhat wasted. They're trying to bait someone out to defend this bot lane. Boris is going to continue pushing in until somebody does TP, but this smoke is so close to wearing off. Poop Kid, he makes it in the spot of time, and now they're going to jump in immediately. And look at this, tier 3 tower is now under siege. What a nice play from them. Poop Kid, he literally came in as the smoke was wearing off. That is a real shame on his part. BSJ gonna jump in, they'll get the stun off, and the Phoenix is gone as well. BSJ, he's going hunting. Tier 3 tower under siege. Here comes PD2. He's going after Boris. The Global Silence is there as well. The TP will not be successful. Now they chase the IO. They want Jubei gone. They get rid of him as well. Annihilate drops the macro. It's a nice one as well. Mio is falling very, very low, but Annihilate is also falling low. In fact, BSJ gonna try for the TP out. There's no way to cancel it. The toss was on cooldown as well as that avalanche. A nice play from BSJ, and now here comes Monkeys Forever. The egg has been dropped, but that's not going to save their Lycan. PT2 is gone. The egg will end up stunning up Monkeys Forever, but he is so healthy right now, he's not going to care at all. They're going to chase with the Wolves. The Sunray is there as well. In fact, Mio is there to help out, and they should be able to find this Necro eventually because he's got no help left. And they will. The avalanche toss does come in. Nevertheless, though, the tier 3 cops over half its health worth of damage. But I suppose at the very least they have not lost the tier 3.
Yeah, they do have to expend 2 buybacks for that on their 2 big teamfight heroes, the Phoenix and the Silencer. So, you know, if they die in the next fight, you're not going to have that option to buy back anymore. And that is an opening for ROOONS. They did expend the Egg and the Global Silence. So there definitely is a very wide opening for ROOONS to take. The question is, can they take it? The map is pushing their favor right now. They don't quite have the vision game matching the Radiant side right now. Radiant has 2 really nice deep jungle wards to keep track of that movement of BSJ. So they do have eyes on BSJ, or at least have a very rough idea where he is on the map at any given moment. And I can't quite say the same about ROOONS. They don't have any wards out. So all of these pushes they're making, Mike, it's really high risk.
With the
In
high
fact,
risk.
none of them have wards.
I mean, it is certainly shocking. We'll see what the plan is. Looks like they are going to dive again into that Radiant jungle. Start stealing some ancient stacks. Or just one ancient stack, but still taking that farm away from the Lycan. They might even find him PT2. Gonna spot BSJ out. The small form is there now. The Cyclone comes in. They're gonna try and go for BSJ. In fact, no, they'll go for Jubei first. He does actually move the other way. Nice Ice Path comes in as well as the macro from Annihilate. And now they're gonna turn this one around. The Global Silence was there, but it was way too late. The Egg's still ticking down, but it's not gonna make it. And the poor Lycan ran back in, and he's gonna get melted. Boris with a triple kill. In fact, Lampercat, they're chasing for even more. Annihilate, he's got the Yules up. He's got the Ice Path up as well. He's got no help, though. And Lampercat, Oh, he's maybe stuck around too long. Boris is there again. No Laguna available, but there's the Ice Path. The buyback does come out from Poop Kid. And BSJ jumps in by himself. He gets Cold Snap though, and he's going to give his life away. In fact, no, not quite yet. Jabay is there with the heals. BKB also being picked up as that was going on. So now a 10-second BKB charge available for this Sven. And with 3 heroes down, this is the first racks of the game going to the way of Team ROOONS, I believe. Though Lampercat going to try and slow this down as much as he can. He does buy enough time for that Lycan to buy back, but there's no Wolf Form available. EMP will not actually end up connecting on anyone either. And it looks like they'll probably go and commit to the Shrines instead.
Yeah, and from a 2k net worth lead for ROOONS, it's now 11k from that one teamfight win, from that one push. And, you know, they're suddenly back in control of the game, definitely in control of the game. They've taken out the tier 3, the Shrines are open for taking, they forced out a couple of buybacks. Again, they made the Radiant side waste some ultimates that they really depend on for team fights. Global Silence is down for a bit longer, Egg is down for a bit shorter. And again, that's another opening, and we've seen ROOONS use those openings properly. Like, they won't hesitate to just shove a lane in, play aggressively when they know these ultimates are down.
Yeah. While you were speaking there, John, we did see Poop Kid finding a kill. Most of the work was done by the Tiny, but Poop Kid does get the kill secure. BSJ, 17k net worth. In fact, he's almost 18k now. It's like, how the hell do you deal with this Sven? He's got that BKB. It's still on a 10-second charge. Like, he's got the Blink Initiation, the Mask of Madness, the Sergeant Yasha. It's not going to be easy. He's sitting at 3k HP already. And they're really picking out that Shrine, which iAnnihilate is slowly taking by himself.
That's Boris again.
Top lane, though, being pushed in as well. BSJ going to commit the God Strength and clear out this creep wave. The tier 2 will actually end up going down. Nobody denied that. Now they're going to see if they can chase for somebody. PD2, he's gone. And in fact, the rest of the Radiant is also gone, and they're going to go for a gank attempt onto iAnnihilate, it seems. They were pinging him out, but they do end up backing out of that one as well.
Wow. AC up for BSJ, Mike, 26 minutes in.
Yeah, this
That's
man's
a
on fire.
really swarm, Sven.
This man's on fire, John. Look at him. Moving forward, Lampercat is in Viz, so he won't bother going for that. In fact, hold on a minute. They got the Yules off. iAnnihilate finds him with Monkeys Forever. Nice avalanche toss back, but the Reaper Scythe is there, and, well, Monkeys Forever picks that one up for himself. And with that, they move straight down to that bot lane, it seems.
Yeah, again, every time ROOONS finds a pick-off, it just translates into something else. For the most part. They've managed to take most of the objectives off the map, following kill, or, you know, they secured jungle farm at very least.
Oh, look at Boris.
Haven't really been playing the board game, but...
Look at Boris top lane. He may end up dropping here, although no, not quite yet. Meanwhile, the bot lane's being taken. PD2 has to get the hell back there. Boris somehow in hell escapes that gank attempt from the Lycan. Now the Yules comes in. They're going after BSJ. Again, he has the BKB. He jumps in, and Lampercat is in massive trouble. In fact, he's just gone. Blue will be the next target. He gets stunned up, and BSJ takes him out. Ice Path connects onto the Lycan as well, so PD2's gone. No buybacks available. Sunstrike will come in. Mio going to be the next target, it seems. Chaos Meteor will be there, but it won't deal that much damage. The IO heal is way too much. In fact, Poop Kid jumps in. He will get Jabay. Now BSJ is going to be the target, though. Boris is there to help out if necessary. Meanwhile, at the bot lane, Annihilate getting the job done. He's using that liquid fire and trying to take down that melee Rax ASAP. And he should be able to eventually find him. In fact, Boris jumps in. He's going to go after Mio, and he finds him. Now Poop Kid going to try and turn this one around, but it doesn't look like he really can against 4 heroes. And it's going to be a full team wipe coming out from Team ROOONS. They'll get the full racks, and they may even go for a second.
Yeah, I think they can definitely take second, no issue at all. Phoenix does have the egg up, and Lycan does have the shapeshift up, so We might see some sort of defense coming out. 2 against 4 is a bit hectic though, but ROOONS is pretty low in mana. They don't quite have the sustain to stay in this lane. They do take the tier 3. Probably the most they can get now, and they're going to pull back.
Well, they're going to try and go after monkeys forever, it seems. On the side of nothing too edgy. PD2 gives up on monkeys forever, but he couldn't find anyone else, so the wolf form now expended. He will get nothing out of that. You look at monkeys forever as well, John. He's actually gone and picked up a desolator. So he's just all in on this push with his team. I mean, it does help having that deso when you're pushing towers. It really helps, you know, escalate the damage you're putting out to those towers.
Oh yeah, it definitely does. It's just not a typical item you get in Necrophos. Again, watching some of the top Necrophos players, Mike, if I do say so myself, this is not an item I've seen him build.
This is what confidence looks like, John. Monkeys forever,
Yes,
not
it is.
playing around.
Definitely not. Kill board is now pretty even as well, Mike. 23 to 22, 30 minutes in, 20k net worth lead now for ROOONS, and the map grows smaller and smaller for the Radiant side. They're gradually just losing control from the outside, Mike. There's no space to farm anymore. BSJ just jumps in.
Yeah, it looks like Blue may be dead. BKB not committed by BSJ, so he couldn't actually stun up the Phoenix. He wants to hold on to that for the moment. Now they want to jump in, it seems. Lampercat is there with the Avalanche, though. Blue, is he going to be the target? It looks like he will egg immediately. Can they take it down? He's been disarmed on BSJ. He BKBs up and goes through it. Now the tier 4's under siege. They're not even wasting time with that mid-racks. They want to finish this game ASAP. This puts a lot of pressure on Nothing Too Edgy to try and delay this. They'll go after Jabay, they'll get him, but they're going to lose their Invoker in the process. No buyback available on Poop Kid either. And Mio trying his best, but this Sven, look how hard he's hitting right now with Monkeys Forever. This Ancient is just gone. Lampicat trying his best, but they've called GG well played. And 30 minutes in now, the side of Team ROOONS will take game number 1. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is a best of 3 series, so please do stick around with us as we go into game 2. But John, that was a very convincing win.
Yeah, that definitely was. I mean, the kill board doesn't say it though. 24 to 24, so Radiant side did give us a very good fight, but they just lost too much of the map. None of their kills translated into objectives, and it just slowly slipped away, I feel. They did have the tools for good team fight, Mike. They did have a couple of good team fights. It's just that they didn't really push it as much as I thought they would. When you have the Phoenix and the Silencer, you definitely want to play around those 2 heroes.
Yeah.
You know, always set the pace when those cooldowns are off, make use of it, find even just 1 kill, and just make use of that long-ass cooldown. Try to find something out of it, translate that to an objective, and then you're pretty much set.
Yeah, absolutely. On that note, John, we'll head off into the next lobby. Guys, hopefully it won't be long. I'm going to guess it'll be about 5 to 10 minutes. So please stick around with us. Game 2 coming up in just a moment.
Dire team ban.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this best of 3 series between, my goodness, Team ROOONS versus, I'm actually forgetting the names, nothing too edgy. It is MLP Dota versus MLP Dota with John X5. John, we're not versing each other. Whew. What a screw up.
Someone's confused today.
What a screw up, John. Just take over. What happened in game 1?
Well, we saw a bit of a topsy-turvy fight coming out from ROOONS. They were quite behind in kills for a long time. It's just that nothing too serious, nothing too edgy. Couldn't quite translate that kill advantage into objectives. They just lost most of the map with a Lycan pre-30 minutes in. And, Team ROOONS just built up off of that. And again, they picked up every single rune that game. Every single bounty rune. So they did stay true to their name as well, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely.
10 seconds remaining.
We do see a first pick up Drow on the side of Team ROOONS, John. I mean,
5 seconds remaining.
they're really showing their hand quite quickly this draft. They didn't want to allow the Drow to get banned. It will be the first pick, and of course, nothing too edgy. They'll go for the first pick, Winter Wyvern, and wait out their second pick. But first pick Drow, John, is that a bit too obvious?
I think we've seen it quite a fair bit, Mike, especially in I want to say it was done quite a fair bit in TI qualifiers. I want to say it did come out a lot in that time, and I think it still works out as long as you have something planned to go with it. You definitely have something in mid in mind that can play with that Drow aura quite well, and you definitely want a support that can really secure that lane for you. I mean, Drow is pretty potent in lane early on. You have to remember that the frost arrows do a lot of work in slowing you down without boots. So it is going to be annoying depending on the off-lane matchup and the support that does come with a Drow. I think it's a strong opening. You're going to have to commit for something that can close the gap or help you close the gap. For nothing too edgy, that is the Tiny. And I guess that kind of works out. They go back to the Tiny, you can just toss into the Drow, take away that bonus agi, and really kind of cut back on that aura. It's quite good against Drow as long as you're the one jumping Drow.
Well, Lampercat, he had a fantastic Tiny game last time around. Again, we'll see if he can emulate it this time in this game too, and he will have to really try and catch up that Drow as best he can. Get rid of that aura off that map ASAP, especially during that team fight and that DPS coming up. Second pickup now, and it does seem like Team ROOONS are really thinking about this one. It almost feels like Team ROOONS are in a bit of a rush almost. Like they keep finishing these games so quickly. And now with the first pick Drow, it just feels like they've got somewhere to be.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like they want it done and over with. Maybe because it is a Friday night. Maybe they have plans to go out for drinks. I don't know, Mike.
Undying. Second pick Undying. Okay. One of your favorites, John.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite heroes, and quite honestly, it's been fairly good. I'd say the hero itself is probably not at its highest point, but the meta definitely fits the hero right now. Going dual lanes, just kind of all about trying to get all in on someone, and you can't really go all in on an Undying because he can sustain quite well. He has Soul Rip, he has Decay to really extend that chase, and it's really just a hard hero to go all in on. One thing I want to mention, Mike, Team ROOONS bans out the Visage themselves, which is usually seen in combination with that Drow Ranger. So an interesting ban from ROOONS. I'm not sure why you'd want to ban it out.
Yeah, I have to agree with you.
I feel like the Visage works really well with Drow. Although I guess they don't have first pick in the second phase. So fair enough to ban it out because they can't quite just grab it straight up.
I mean, even if you don't have the Drow, the Visage can be relatively scary to go up against. So I guess that is their train of thought. Like they may pick it up themselves, and then you've got a problem because you're up against a Visage who's a real
10
pain
seconds
in the
remaining.
neck. Nothing too
Yeah.
edgy though. Third pickup now,
5
John.
seconds remaining.
We'll see where they're going with this. So far, so good though. It's pretty standard their draft. Like nothing too surprising with the Winter Wyvern and Tiny. It's just great laning, great mid game. There's even late game with that Winter's Curse and the Tiny, it is pretty damn good if you can get a nice Winter's Curse off.
Yeah, it does scale nicely into the late game. I think the one issue I have right now is you don't really have a way of handling the Undying Tombstone early on, or even later on once he gets his talents. It's gonna be a bit of a rough time trying to clear those tombstones out. Tiny is not the best. It depends on how you itemize him. Winter Wyvern definitely doesn't clear these tombstones fast enough, so you're gonna want something in your draft that can hit from afar. Maybe go back, maybe pick up a Luna for yourself. Oh, Lena for yourself, like ROOONS did in the last game. I think that works out well against the Undying. They do go for the Venge, so we are seeing a Winter Wyvern and Venge support duo, I believe. Unless they're going to a core Venge, which, it's still possible. It's just definitely not favored.
Well, Team Ruins, third pickup now. Let's wait it out
10
and see
seconds
what it's going to be, what they are going to be comboing in this Drow lineup.
5 seconds
They
remaining.
have about a minute's worth of reserve time left, so they can think about this.
Dire team pick.
In fact, the Nature's Prophet comes out. So it's like, alright, you were going to take the Visage, or we ban the Visage just so you can't take it. That's fine, we'll take a Nature's Prophet instead. They can, I guess they can still buff up the treants, with the active. And overall, are you going to tell me I'm wrong?
No.
No?
Which active?
The Drow active, the Aura
No,
active.
that affects range units, Mike.
Oh my apologies again.
Mike.
Look, I don't play Drow, John. I don't play Drow. Just take over, John. Just start analyzing why
Yeah,
the
look.
Nature's Prophet's been picked up.
Look, the NP is good with Drow. It's really good. NP has really nice base damage for a ranged hero. Add on top of that, Drow Aura. This guy wants to split push. He's gonna hit really hard. His laning phase, his harass is gonna be really annoying to deal with. You don't quite have a good person to really tree cut. I guess Tiny can cut trees quite well. The Bloodseeker is gonna make that annoying now though. Nature's Prophet can't quite just escape when he's low HP. He's always gonna be spotted out in these matches. And it's a really simple combination, Mike. I want to point out, nothing too edgy has a really nice combination with that
10
Bloodseeker.
seconds remaining.
Winter's Curse into Bloodright to get the silence off after, pretty good.
5 seconds remaining.
Rupture into Toss, really good. Rupture into Swap, really good. So they have a lot of tools to really maximize this Bloodseeker pickup. I think it's a nice little fourth pick here, Mike.
Look, I can't disagree with you once you point all those combinations out. Team
Dire
Rune's going to have to
team
be
back.
slightly careful about this. And
Oh,
no. No.
Come on.
No.
You already have Nature's Prophet. You don't need two guys going. Oh, come on. This is. I mean, it definitely shows ROOONS is not playing around, Mike.
No.
They don't care. They want this done.
The Tinker comes
10
out, ladies and
seconds
gentlemen.
remaining.
As usual, John, I'll apologise on behalf of Team Ruins for the
5
Tinker.
seconds remaining.
Nobody likes seeing a Tinker, John. It's not a...
Radiant
It's a good hero, but you don't want to play up against it. You don't want to be the guys having to watch the damn Tinker, because it can be a bit of a drag. But at the same time, with a Drow lineup, I guess, especially considering Team Rooms do seemingly want to finish this game fast, perhaps we're going to see a very, very active active style of Tinker.
Yeah, I think it's definitely possible, not something that wants to drag it out to the late game. I don't think they really want to drag it out to the late game anyway. You're playing with a Drow. Drow itself does have a bit of a timer. And Nature's Prophet as well, which we don't know if it's going to be a support or a core. We have seen Nature's Prophet being tossed around in those roles. I still feel like it works out best as a core, but we've seen a lot of teams just run it as a support to mixed success, I want to say. They do still have last pick. Again, probably looking to fill into that either off lane or support role. It depends really what they want to do with MP. They go to Pugna. Okay. They really don't want to play this game, Mike. They just want it done.
Oh, fair enough. Nice push potential coming out. Nice defense potential coming out with the Tinker as well. It's one of those things, right? You're going to be pushing one lane, the Tinker's going to be pushing the other lane. And sure, like the Tinker's not necessarily great at pushing towers, but at the same time, you're never really going to be able to push back against the Tinker.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely so.
5 seconds remaining.
Again, it's a Drow, it's a Pugna, it's a Nature's Prophet with Tinker on top. They just want to push really hard, take out the objectives just like they did in game 1, probably a bit faster in this game as well. And I do like the combination coming out from Nothing Too Edgy. Again, that Bloodseeker plus Venge plus Tiny plus Winter Wyvern. There's a lot of synergy going on there. But compared to this lineup, it's just so bloody annoying to deal with. Nothing Too Edgy does pick up that Ember Spirit. Should lane fairly okay against Tinker, I have to say. I do forget that matchup now. Because honestly, we haven't seen too much Tinker, Mike. It's been a while, and my mind does kind of need to get refreshed. I feel like it is a lane that does favor Ember as soon as he gets maybe level 3, if I recall right. Unless the Tinker opts for a more nuke-heavy kind of build, which means he can't really farm.
Well, we'll see what Annihilate does choose to go for on this Tinker. He's probably going to be feeling slightly strange. He's been playing Jakiro all day, and now he'll switch it up a bit. So we won't see those really early tier 1 mid towers coming out from him this time around. Or we could, you never really know. There is still a Drow lineup. He can still right-click quite hard with that, but we'll keep an eye on them. See what happens. Of course, I have to agree with you as well. I feel like the side of the Dire, Nothing Too Edgy. I think their draft looks a lot better this time around than it did the last game. Like, it's certainly a lot scarier to go up against for Team ROOONS. So they might be taking this one a bit more... I shouldn't say seriously, but they may be a lot more careful this time around.
Yeah, definitely. So I do feel like I have to point out the nice, that Pugna last pick. Sure, it kind of feels odd because it's a Pugna, you have an Undying, you don't really have control coming out for your team. In fact, you have no control coming out for your team outside of Drow Silence and maybe Sprout. Unreliable. But Pugna does one thing here, Mike. As long as Pugna is not within Winter's Curse, he can probably decrepify the target. Probably with enough range. I'm not sure. Is that actually enough range? I think it is. I think it should just be outside of range, right? So should have ways of, just canceling out the effect of Winter's Curse.
I guess worst case scenario is you pick up something like an Aether Lens, just in case, right? Like if you haven't got the range, just grab an Aether Lens. It might just give you, more than enough to get the job done. But that is a fine point that you make. You do definitely want to at least, usually the Winter's Curse is used for defensive purposes, I feel, John, but, you still want to be able to take somebody out with it, like, at the very least as a punishment for trying to chase.
Yeah, definitely so. I do want to point out as well, it is a support Pugna with Boris on it, and we've seen Boris just play these really odd supports. Nowadays, we see Pugna mainly as a core, right? He does want the farm, he wants his level 6 fast, wants an Aether Lens, wants maybe a Rod of Atos, maybe an Agnum's fast. Even something like an Aeon Disc is what you see on Pugnas now, or Ewel's. But he does go with a support again, like last game he went support Lina. Not something you see too often. Used to be done, not too often now.
John, top lane, Monkeys forever. A lot of trouble right now. Boris will be there to help out Monkeys. The tree throw is still available, but he will end up not going for the actual hero, but rather hits the treants. Monkeys forever will be perfectly fine throughout all this. Boris will be joining him on that Pugna. We'll see how this lane goes for them. It's been such a long time since we've seen an offlane Prophet, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been a while. I think for the most part we have been seeing it played as a support. And I want to say in the games we casted, it's mainly been in China with Fate Beyond playing it as support, if I'm not mistaken on that, Mike. That's what pops into my mind. I'm just not really sure. It's been a while.
Nevertheless, it should be interesting to see how the offlane Prophet goes.
PT2 is dropping really low against this Undying already, Mike.
Yeah, and Jabei's got the decay as well. And he'll finish him off. PD2. He didn't have a great game last time around, and that's not a great start either. Giving that Undying that first blood as well, he might be able to pick up a very fast Arcane Boots. And that just makes your life a living hell in this laning phase with that decay spam.
Yeah, definitely does. Bloodseeker does not have the greatest starting HP. Yeah, it's not too bad. Kind of just average. Undying just makes that count a lot more. And again, with this Drow slow and the harass coming out from BSJ, it's just really annoying to deal with. You just can't run away. And you're always losing HP. A nice, beautiful nuke. PT2 is down to 18 HP again, Mike. Has to pop a salve.
Yeah, on the brighter end of things, I guess with the decay stacks, you can salve up very easily to full HP, but well, this is going to keep happening. Like, you can't just keep buying regen. It's just going to be way too much gold going towards, you know, keeping your health up. And so we'll see where Jabei goes from here. It does look like he'll rotate a bit.
Monkeys?
He's in trouble. He should end up dropping here, it seems. A tree throw will not get the job done. And he does have brown boots, so he just outruns them and he goes for the TP play. Nice little dance coming out from the Nature's Prophet. Meanwhile, Jabei denies himself to the dire creeps.
Nah, it's just their tier 2 tower. Again, a move you usually see in case no one is aware, in case someone's not aware. It's a great way of resetting yourself without, you know, because if you sacrifice yourself to neutral creeps, the respawn time is way too costly. 20 seconds early game is really significant. Just go down in tier 2, kill yourself there, spread just maybe 60 gold, maybe 20 gold to each enemy hero, which is fine. Come back in lane, full HP, bring some regen for your core, maybe bring a bottle, and just be happy.
Jabei now. Got that Blood Rage on top of him.
Ooh.
And, oh my goodness, the Soul Rip actually getting the job done with the Decay. Some quick calculations coming out from Jabei to get that. Mind you, there was 12 stacks of Decay on the Bloodseeker, so he was missing 12 strength throughout all this. I mean, PD2, he's having a rough time. Like, there's nothing Mio can do to help him out in this. He's on a Vengeful Spirit. He's got one stun that lasts hardly anything. Jabei, meanwhile, he's just going to keep going. There's the magic missile. But again, this Bloodseeker sitting there with no HP. He's got Blood Rage to heal him up, but he can't get in range to attack the creeps.
Yeah, that is definitely an issue.
Oh,
again!
Jabei, I mean, he's calculating this quite well, John. That Soul Rip dealing so much damage with the Decay, and that's the third death, I believe, of the Bloodseeker, and yeah, it is.
That's a level 1 Soul Rip, Mike. Level 1! I mean, usually you don't see level 1 Soul Rips do this much at 4 minutes in. I really want to say, you kind of expect a Soul Rip level 2 to keep securing you kills like this. The fact that the Bloodseeker's dying like this is just not good.
Well, Poop Kid, he rotates up top. He's going to try and find some return kills across the other end of the map, and he will find two.
Thanks for playing Dota
So
2.
the Ember
Double kills.
will take advantage of that haste rune he picked up very early on. Now Lampercat, he'll be fine. Meanwhile, bot lane, they will end up finding Mio Desu. And top lane, they're still going after this. There will be a TP in from Monkeys Forever. He's going to chase Lamper. He needs one more right click, and he should be able to get in range, surely. Lamper. He's tangoing up through all this. He takes the bounty rune off him, so he will get a little win out of that, but he will eventually lose his own life. And the bounty rune will go to the way of Monkeys Forever at that top lane anyway. Poop Kid, meanwhile, finds Annihilate on that Tinker. So this Ember, doing a lot of work.
Yeah, definitely is. Is playing behind, though, again, in terms of last hits. 16 to 3 compared to our Tinkers 26 to 13. Significantly behind, and these lane creeps, honestly, Mike, they matter a bit more than hero kills.
Well, there you have it. Mind you, Poop Kid has found 3 hero kills this game, so perhaps he's actually ahead of the Tinker, maybe. We'll have a look at the net worth in a second to really have a look. More importantly, though, John, keeping Annihilate as far down as possible is pretty important, right? Like, you want to just delay those boosted travel as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, that's definitely the #1 priority when you're playing against Tinker.
Bot lane. BSJ in trouble. There's the magic missile. They're going to make the chase, and BSJ is gone. Poop Kid on a dominating spree. 6 minutes in. This man is just rotating around the map, taking names. He's got the chains again, and it looks like there's nowhere Jubei can really go. He does soul rip himself up, but he should just be dead. And they'll give that one a PD2. In fact, no, it's shared. The tower ended up getting that right click. Top lane, meanwhile, they end up getting Lampercat. And now Blue going for more, but Boris is okay. And he's got the Nether Blast.
Killing spree.
Monkeys Forever will pick up the right click in the last hit. And with that, 7-6, 3k net worth lead to the side of ROOONS. And here comes the push from Monkeys Forever.
Yeah, definitely starting work on that top tower. This Tiny has been significantly starved out. I'd have to say 22-4. I mean, he is keeping pace probably with the Ember Spirit, but it's not the greatest thing to have. I guess it's still better than your Bloodseeker, who's 10-3, 0-3 in terms of kills. I guess this top lane could be worse. It's still not the best start, I have to say. I mean, you have a Winter Wyvern, and it's just not as dominant as you'd want.
Well, Poop Kid agrees with you, and it seems he's going to rotate his way top again. Boris is going to be the target. The chains do connect. He's trying to go for the deny, but he won't get it off. Again, though, this is a support Pugna, so it goes back to that whole thing where it's like, yeah, you're farming heroes. Can you farm creeps just as fast, though? Well, for the moment, the answer is yes, he can. He'll take a nice little neutral stack. Top of the net worth now for Poop Kid. So he is the saving grace of his team for the moment. And, well, Lampercat tosses him straight onto Monkeys, but Poop Kid changes his mind. He doesn't want this. That looked like an easy kill almost, but he didn't want to risk the TP rotations, it seems.
Yeah, I think it's really pertinent right now for Poop Kid to not die. He's 5-0. He is #1 net worth, just slightly ahead of the Drow, which is pretty good all things considered, because he did not get too much farm out of his lane. And you don't want to play that off. Ember as a core does want to stay ahead.
Oh, bot lane, the pings are coming out again. This tier 1 tower should end up going down. And it will. BSJ at that level 6 mark now, so he has the marksmanship. It really just escalates the right click damage. Lampercat will be there with an avalanche, but that's all he's going to get out.
Not this time.
He won't even get the creeps. He gets one of them, but BSJ ensures 2 of them were denied. Now BSJ back on top of the net worth board. He'll just continue his farm. A tip going out to Annihilate, who we haven't talked about at all, John, this Tinker. Like, he is struggling. I say struggling, but I say that because it's Annihilate and he's just dominated every game we've seen so far. This boost of travel is still going to be up in the next few minutes. Like, it's definitely not too much of a struggle. PD2 finds Boris in his jungle. An easy kill for him. Meanwhile, though, Poop Kid, they want to go for Jubei. There's the toss. Magic Missile as well. Looks like Undyne should just end up dropping. Lampercat actually picks that one up for himself with that tree. And there's the pings onto Annihilate saying, where the hell are you? What are you doing?
You know, Mike, I want to say, this does remind me of Game 1 quite a fair bit. 7-9 lead for nothing too edgy, but they are behind in net worth. They haven't taken a tower yet. They're 2 towers behind. It's almost the same story. Question is, can nothing too edgy fix the mistakes of Game 1?
We'll have to keep an eye out. Right now, no. Monkeys Forever and BSJ, again, top of the net worth board. And Poop Kid is starting to slow down a bit. They will make a jump onto Boris, but again, this is just a support kill on the Pugna. In fact, it's not even... He's still alive. He's actually life draining throughout all this. The TP out as well. He's just dragging this out as long as possible, and he will eventually go down to PD2. But while all that was happening, the tier 1 mid tower ends up dropping. And now all tier 1s for the side of the Dire are just gone. So to answer that question you asked before, John, I mean, again, they were on top of kills, and they still are, but the objectives aren't being taken. The farm is not really there. And eventually, Team ROOONS, they're going to start taking over again.
Yeah, and that's the issue you have against, playing against this Nature's Prophet and the Tinker. They can just split push really hard. You have to commit to one lane, but these two heroes can jump to any lane at basically no cost, little to no downtime at all. And it's an issue. You can't be everywhere at once, but these two heroes force you to be everywhere at once.
There will be a nice little smoke coming out. They're going to find Jabay. That is a pos 5 Undying, I believe. In fact, yeah, he's going to just delay this as best he can. Ends up dropping. It's split gold as well to make matters worse for the side of Nothing Too Edgy. It's really a shame. 4k net worth now, 12 minutes in. Where do the side of Team ROOONS go from here? Like, it seems like they're just going to farm for a bit, but when do we expect the next push to come out?
It's really hard to say because right now they're just responding to ROOONS. A nice pick off on BSJ, but is BSJ your problem here? Is the aura the problem? I don't think so. Like, in terms of these fights, in terms of the objectives being taken, sure, the Drow does provide a lot of damage to those buildings, but at this point, look, NP doesn't care. He doesn't have Drow aura. He's just gonna push it.
Yeah.
And you're again forced to rotate 2-3 heroes up to this lane.
So close with the Nether Blast, but again, the backdoor protection kicks in eventually. Boris trying to make a run for this. They will swap him. That might actually help him out a bit. And now he wants a life drain. Magic Missile was there, and they get the job done. That was slightly scary for a moment. Meanwhile, Poop Kid ends up dropping. Nice Winter's Curse comes out. Looks like Jabay will end up losing his life to BSJ. Blue will get a bit more harassment out. But still, Poop Kid dying, like, again, he's the top of his team's net worth. Like, he can't afford to die like that.
Yeah, he definitely can't. That was a trade for, for Undying. And Undying does not care. He's already dead, Mike. He's dead inside, he's dead outside, doesn't matter. Ember Spirit's hot and on fire. You can't afford to keep putting that fire out, Mike. It costs money, it costs gas. Gas ain't cheap, Mike.
No, it's not. Not these days, John. Monkeys forever. Going to be chased down. Lampercat is there as well. He tries to go for the TP play, but it looks like he may just be dead. Nice sprout, but not really nice enough. Now Jabay, he wants to punish this Tiny for that. Boris is there as well. And Lampercat is just dead. There's nothing the Winter Wyvern could do about that. Meanwhile, BSJ, though, ends up dropping across the map. And Poop Kid continues to find kills for his team. But it goes back to the whole thing where it's like, is the aura really the problem right now? It does delay things a bit. In fact, Jabay and Boris dying here might be a big problem. Yep. Boris should end up dropping. In fact, no, he'll life drain throughout all this. Magic Missile as well. He'll eventually go down. Now the Winter's Curse as well. They're not playing around. Jabay will end up losing his wife. I was about to say losing his wife. Excuse me, losing his life. Monkeys forever. We'll be pushing that bot lane though.
Jubay's wife is undying. Rather odd proposition, Mike, but I'll take it.
Thank you, John. Monkeys
Nice
forever.
toss.
Gonna try and TP out. Won't be successful in doing so. Like, look, in the end, right? Like, I know we keep talking about how the objectives aren't being taken, but they've lowered the net worth down back to 1k. They're 10 kills ahead. It feels like, this is the best chance they have of beating Team ROOONS.
Yeah, definitely is. I don't disagree with you there, Mike. The issue I'm seeing here is, again, Nature's Prophet up in 6 seconds. Every other hero is already respawned. You have not pressured a tier 1. You are positioning it mid. That's an Undying. He does not care.
He's going to drop the Tombstone. And he'll delay this again with the Soul Rip.
Killing spree.
They may be able to farm that Tombstone out. Mio copying a lot of damage though. He might give his life away for that. He does swap out. Now PD2 going in. And Monkeys Forever. Got to be careful not to die. They will rupture up I Annihilate. Can he TP out of there? Poop Kid not going to allow it. I Annihilate trying to find the returner. And he will. Lampercat will be there though to finish him off. In fact, I Annihilate ends up getting a double. And now Boris comes in. He's a bit late to the party though. And Lampercat, with that double damage rune, ends up finding a triple kill for himself. You know, this is still going to be slightly scary for them. Mind you, though, top lane was being pushed in. Lampercat has to immediately TP and defend that. And I suppose if the Nature's Prophet hadn't died in that team fight, John, he probably would have been up there at the top lane with that Meteor Hammer and the Treants pushing out.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely would be an issue. But he's up again, and he's pushing that bot tower.
He just continues to do
Not in
this.
time.
Winter's Curse is there. A very slow TP coming up from PD2. Monkeys Forever should just be dead here. Poop Kid will be there as well, and they'll find that
Their
kill.
Q2's gone.
Nice deny anyway from Poop Kid though, but yeah, that Meteor Hammer and the Treants shot, they're doing a lot of work.
It definitely is. You know, when that Winter's Curse came out, Monkeys Forever already channeled the hammer, right? So that whole movement was just kind of pointless. That tower's gonna go. At least you get the kill. You know, you get the kill. That's nice. Nice little gold injection for you. You lost another objective. Your map is nearly dark again. You've got wards watching the usual Tinker spots. That's good. But you're losing map control slowly but surely.
And now they found Mio as well on the Vengeful. He'll end up dropping. Boris has gone for a Dagon build, John. I mean, he is feeling pretty confident. He's I guess it goes back to the fact that Team ROOONS, I don't think they expect to, in any way, shape, or form, lose this game. And they're pushing forward. They're going for a tier 3 early on again. The Decrepify and Dagon is a lot of damage, even with that level 1 Dagon. You can't really underestimate.
And it really does a lot of work against heroes like Bloodseeker. Anyone he amps up is just dead. Oops.
Unless he's dead, which he is, thanks to Blue. Now the Rupture comes out, and Jabay, he'll be the next target. They get the chains off, and he's gone as well. I Annihilate in the background trying to help out. They do use up BSJ. The Avalanche toss is there. Meteor Hammer misses everything. PD2 so close to falling, but they get BSJ. They'll get I Annihilate, and they completely team wipe them. Monkeys Forever goes down as well. Oh my. I mean, John, I say that Team ROOONS don't expect to lose, but you can't get team wipe like that, John. It can be, things can change quite quickly.
Yeah, it definitely can. They should at least be able to take one tower from this, surely. The mid tower is pretty low. I guess that's where they'll go. Everywhere else is pretty healthy. And they're already respawning, so
Look at Boris,
the
though.
Fortify's still there as well, so maybe the defense will hold.
Boris, really manly right now. He got rooted into place. He copped a lot of damage. They could just go
Still
get...
is.
Blue is going to go for this. He needs one more right click. In fact, no, the Soul Rip comes out in time from Jabay. T1 so close to dying. But I Annihilate comes in. The rocket spam starts coming out with the laser. They'll get rid of the Venge. Blue is also very low, and I don't think he can afford to Cold Embrace right there because the rockets will come in. And he's also gone. Meanwhile, Lampercat apparently found Monkeys Forever at the bot lane.
That's
so
the
nice.
Shadow Blade. Yeah. That's a Shadow Blade. Just sneak up on that NP. That's going to be an issue if they don't carry detection. I think at this point, you're in Nature's Prophet at the very least has to plant a sentry wherever he wants to go. His common TP spots definitely needs that now. Maybe even Dust just to be sure. But yeah, that's a nice little Shadow Blade reveal. I'm not sure if he already had it beforehand, but making good use of that Shadow Blade, definitely something worthwhile. 15 to 30, Mike. You know, it's an even wider kill gap now, and I still can't say for certain that nothing too edgy is in the lead, because looking at the map, Mike, that tier 1 mid is still up. They got team wipe, and that tier 1 mid was a 200 HP. Still couldn't kill it.
Well, to make matters worse, BSJ now has an Aegis. Like you said, the tier 2 still standing. It's not actually in deny range either, so... And even if it was, I don't know if Team ROOONS would even bother denying it. Probably have some kind of challenge where they don't let a tier 1 tower go down this whole game. Meanwhile, top lane, they have found the tiny Lampercat. He's going to run through those trees. He does have a blink dagger as well, and he'll blink straight back into the lane, so he'll be fine. Well, PD2 could be in trouble bot lane, but he does end up TPing out as well, sensing there may be some impending danger. And there was. Boris was coming around.
That's the Aegis pop.
BSJ goes down. Jabay trying to delay this for his teammate. He will do so. BSJ will be able to walk out of there. Unfortunately, though, for Jabay, he may lose his own life here, and he will. Annihilate comes in, just spams a few marches and gets the hell out of there. And again, you know, he's already prepping to not allow them to take any objective off this. Like, he just starts spamming marches to ensure that creep wave can't get anywhere near that tier 1.
Yeah, and it really can't. I mean, they're gonna... I guess they could backdoor it. There's no backdoor protection for these tier 1s, but BSJ spots them out. They don't have detection.
Rupture on Monkeys Forever. BSJ still holding on. He has a silence available. Monkeys Forever. Gonna be able to just TP out of there. Meanwhile, bot lane. Boris pushing the tier 3 tower. He will end up dropping. Meanwhile, though, Lampercat going after Annihilate. Can they find this Tinker? They probably can. In fact, no, the laser gets the Ember Spirit. And now Lampercat, he's going to be careful not to cop too much damage. And in fact, with that Sprout, they're just going to have free reign on Lamper. Here come the pings. The Meteor Hammer comes down as well. That Cold Embrace helped the enemy team more than it did help his own team. Now Monkeys Forever sprouts up. There is a Quelling Blade available. Blood Rage actually going out onto Monkeys Forever. Rocket. It's coming up. The Blade Mail is there to help out PD2. Now the swap as well. They want to turn this around. And Annihilate actually gets played. He ends up dropping. Monkeys Forever still around the area. He has the Meteor Hammer available, but the Sprout is very nice. He blocks them out. With that, look at BSJ. He's looping around. He goes straight after Mio with that silence. Mio is just dead, and now they'll go after PD2 as well. In fact, no, they'll back off. Rupture is there onto Jabay on that Undying. Meanwhile, BSJ is being chased down by Poop Kid and Blue. And Cold Embrace comes out onto Blue. BSJ just continues right-clicking him, John. But the ice was too hard for those arrows. But the push keeps coming in. Monkeys Forever. Meteor Hammer at the bot lane. Boris at the top lane.
Yeah, and who do you respond to?
Well, they're going to go for Monkeys, it seems. He's running straight towards that fountain, though. He picks up a TP. It's on cooldown. It's not going to be able to be used anyway. Meanwhile, top lane, Poop Kid is... Well, I should say he's hunting, but he's in trouble. And he goes down. Boris finds him. The support Pugner able to take him out with the Decrepified Dagon. Now, Boris should end up dropping. Poop Kid says nobody saw that. Unfortunately, Poop Kid, we did. Avalanche comes in. We'll get Boris at the very least. Now, Annihilate needs to get the hell out of there. In fact, no, he jumps back in. He wants even more. Lampercat, gonna try and find some kind of return for this. He's got the mana for an Avalanche, but it is on cooldown. Meanwhile, Mio is very low. Has to be careful to get...
Lampercat jumped the wrong way.
Oh, he did too. He blinked into that tree line. Jabay, while all this is happening, John, Jabay won't let that creep wave go back down towards his own tower. He keeps pushing this even with the tombstone.
Yeah. Again, everyone on ROOONS side is just really... They've all got one-track mind, Mike. They want to siege this high ground. And they're doing it slowly but surely with Pugno, with Nature's Prophet, even with the Undying, which is probably not the hero you think of when you think of push. But you know, they're making everyone push their weight around here, Mike.
Well, BSJ, he gets the final tier 2 mid with that double damage on the Drow. He'll be going for that BKB next. Poop Kid actually trying to go for a Radiance build on this Ember. Boris gonna go for him. Forces him to Remnant back. Meanwhile, mid lane, Mio Trying to find Jabay. Again, this Undying does not mind dying. And he'll be the only one to drop. He does force out a 5-man rotation in the mid lane, though. Certainly not worthwhile for the side of Nothing Too Edgy.
Yeah, they're definitely not gaining too much by killing Undying and more. He's just worth 244 gold, Mike. Right there at the bottom in terms of net worth, just above the Venge.
They will end up finding a bigger kill in Monkeys Forever. And at the very least, that stops that stopped the push coming in from at least the Nature's Prophet. So you're not so scared to leave your base. You know, so Monkeys Forever just can't, you know, TP in and do his job with the Meteor Hammer and the Treants. But look, Boris. Glimmer Cape, Nether Blast. He may end up dropping if he's not careful, but they miss the chains. Just one Nether Blast at a time. He'll get the job done. He even got an Aether Lens for this as well. So he has that range now. And Boris gonna stick around PD2. May not survive this. There are heroes rotating. The Courier has nothing on it. It's being used as bait, it seems. They actually feed it away to the enemy. And now they're going to get the Undying. Jubei will end up dropping, although he gets a Tombstone off. BSJ falling very low as well. Can he make a run for it? They do get the chains off. Though Boris is there to try and help, but it won't be good enough. He gets ruptured up. He should end up dropping. Annihilate in the background, trying to do as much work as he can with those rockets and March spam. Annihilate, got to be careful not to drop himself here. And they get the chains off. No push is coming in while this is happening. So 4 heroes go down on the side of Team ROOONS. Monkeys Forever didn't have the creeps available to push that bot lane in. They've actually kept the Winter Wyvern down at that bot lane to ensure it does not move. So, I don't know, 4 heroes fed to the way of the Dire, John. Is this scary enough yet, or
yeah,
still
this
no
is
problem?
definitely when you start worrying. If you're, if you're Team ROOONS, you start worrying here. You've lost your net worth advantage through this kill deficit. You have not sieged high ground successfully yet, and you've been picked off slowly but surely, one by one. Granted, right now, it looks like
Radiant's top tower
Nothing Too Edgy can't quite secure an objective yet again, but these kills are really starting to count now. 1k advantage now for Nothing Too Edgy. Sure, your towers are still up, but you're gonna start losing relevancy on that drow if you don't start sieging high ground anytime soon, Mike. And they just haven't. They've chipped away at the high ground. They haven't taken these tier 3s yet.
Well, you've got to give it to Nothing Too Edgy. Like, they have been taking these team fights quite well. I mean, mind you, their draft is much more suitable for team fights, it seems, but I mean, they're one team fight lost, and they're probably losing at least 2 Raxes. So, Nothing Too Edgy, managing to delay this out as long as they possibly can, and perhaps later on this Ember may just take off. He does have the Radiance up now, so Poop Kid has that anti-push, the anti-team fight. They won't just be able to burst him down with the right clicks that easily anyway. And he'll go straight back up top.
So.
In fact, no. Where the hell is Poop Kid? Oh, he went back to the fountain. They are going to go after Boris. There's the Winter's Curse. Straight onto the Pugner. They want to get rid of him ASAP. Chains are there. And, well, the Remnant back. Tombstone has been dropped as well. Boris falling low, but he does get the Soul Rip. Now the Life Drain as well, but he's gone. And again, BSJ actually finding mid, or Mio Desu, I should say. Meanwhile, look at bot lane. There's backdoor protection, but Monkeys Forever does not care.
Smart money.
Perhaps hoping that creep wave at the top lane was just barely close enough, but it just wasn't anywhere near it. At any point, do you see Team ROOONS getting desperate, or do you think they're still in the driver's seat?
I think they do get desperate at a certain point, Mike. You are still playing with a drow who honestly has pretty much tapered off. BSJ has not progressed in itemization in quite a while after that Silver Edge. I'd honestly say he needs a BKB just to be able to get out of that route, not be comboed down by the tiny. He's
lane.
not picking it up though.
They've got the Ember, Scythe of Vice available on Annihilate. They'll find the Ember Spirit Poop Kid. He's gone. Now, more Hexes coming out. And I suppose this is when things get even more silly. Team ROOONS, they're going to start taking over like this. Boris runs through the Rupture. Ends up dropping. Now Winter's Curse. Who have they caught there? It is actually Monkeys Forever, but he's copping really no damage. Poop Kid comes in. He brought back throughout all this, trying to find a way to turn this team fight back around, and he is doing so quite well. They'll find 3 heroes from the side of Team ROOONS. Here comes BSJ though, and he man fights throughout all of it. He might just end up dropping because of this though. And he will. He really wanted that Winter Wyvern, John.
I really don't understand. I just don't. I thought, that's a fair trade. You take it, you go back, you expended a buyback on the Ember, you're fine. You don't go back in for a Winter Wyvern like that.
You do if you're BSJ, John. I Annihilate, defending that tier 1 top tower. Fortification has to be used. That is one right click away. PD2 does not want to allow this to get denied. It's a lot of gold. Oh, and there's the Scythe of Vice. He was baited into it. Nice swap comes out from the bench to really keep him alive. And he'll BKB just to TP out of here safely. That was a 10-second BKB charge on this Bloodseeker, which actually wasn't necessary either.
Yeah, that was, I mean, that's playing safe. It's just your 10-second BKB charge. I don't know if that's worthwhile.
Yeah, mind you, he didn't get the tier 1 top tower either. It still stands at 36 HP.
Probably be denied soon, right? Unless they really value this map control.
I think they do, John. Team ROOONS, they're not... Like, it's a one right click to deny it.
Yeah, I mean, it does give them instant access to runes, so why cut it off, right? It does give you your runes.
That is a
They
very,
are
very
Team
good point.
ROOONS.
That is true. Some great analysis from you, John.
Oh, you know it, Mike.
Top lane again being pushed in. Meanwhile, Monkeys Forever forces out the fortification. He blinks and he TPs out. Although, no, the avalanche comes in and they'll find a nice pick off. That'll stop the split push. Now Blue, Winter's Curse is out onto Boris and the Pugner. Mind you, I Annihilate in the tree line, making it really hard to dive in here. They will get 1 for 1. So Blue drops for Boris. Now Poop Kid, he's going to end up chaining up the Undying. Jabay should just end up falling here surely. He will even drop them a little present at the end, so they'll be able to farm up a bit more gold. 33 minutes in now. The split push struggle is still somewhat real. BSJ, he wasn't there that time around. He's just been farming. But he's nowhere near that point where he's going to just out-carry everybody. And in fact, Poop Kid knows it. He jumps in for the Remnant. Do they have a Dust? Yes, they do. The Yule's up as well. Now, this is a massive kill if they can find it. He does have a Silver Edge, though, and he will break the Ember. But it's not going to be enough, and BSJ ends up dropping as well. Poop Kid. Again, making some plays across the map.
Yeah, and I think it's at this point in the game where if you're Team ROOONS, if you're ROOONS, you are definitely losing. You're losing out now. 27 to 51, 3k network advantage for nothing too edgy. You haven't managed to siege that high ground 34 minutes in with a Drow, with a Pugna, with Nature's Prophet, and with a Tinker. You've just... I think you're starting to miss your window here, Mike. In fact, I'd say maybe in the next, if the next 5 minutes does not give ROOONS high ground objective, I think it's going to be very hard to try to take that high ground following up on that. The Aegis is up for nothing too edgy as well. Poop Kid does pick that up, and he's doing a lot of work for his team. It's going to be hard to deal with this Ember Spirit now. Killing him twice over is a heavy investment. I guess as long as I Annihilate does get the first jump, it kind of works out. But, I know, right now ROOONS is just not playing together. They keep trying to split push. And BSJ is always just being caught out in the jungle. I don't think it's working out anymore, Mike.
They're going to try again at this top lane, it seems. Boris is already waiting there, but they've pinged him out. They know he's in that tree line somewhere. And Boris going to Glimmer Cape his way out. Just in the nick of time. Meanwhile, Monkey's actually got a Scythe of Ice for himself this time around as well. So now there's 2 Scythes available on the side of Team ROOONS.
Yeah, he's had that for a while. I think maybe at least 2-3 minutes. So he's had that option available. It's just that right now it's worrying that ROOONS cannot take an objective. You have a Drow, you have a Nature's Prophet, you have a Pugna. All they're doing right now is dying. And
they're going to go after Lampercat. Top lane, he's gone. No buyback,
Ooh.
John. 90 seconds.
Okay, that's a big one, yeah. This should open up, you know, this should give them a chance to try to high ground, but they are still playing against Aegis.
Yeah, well, they're going to go after what seems like Annihilate, who gets annihilated himself. BSJ with the double damage rune, not able to take advantage. Though Monkey's forever top lane, forcing them to come back up and defend. Meanwhile, the Bloodseeker in massive trouble. That Cold Embrace saving the day. Blue trying to go for even more now. Neodesu is there behind him. Nice swap. Cold Embrace comes out as well. But this delays them enough so that the top rack should be able to be taken. And they are still going for this, but the backdoor protection's kicked in. This creep wave, keeping the racks safe. They'll get at least a range racks. How worthwhile was all that?
I guess in the bigger scheme of things, it was kind of worthwhile. You do manage to at least take that high ground objective. As I said, if they didn't manage to get that within 5 minutes, you're going to struggle the rest of the game to try to take the high ground. They do manage to take at least one objective. It should help them out. Not the best that it's just a range racks. They do want that full set of racks now. Just at least take it out. But now they can clear out shrines, open up the map just a bit more for themselves, and that is definitely helpful.
Top lane, Boris gonna get caught out. He does have the Dagon and the life drain. I say he gets caught out, but Blue ends up going down. You can't really underestimate the amount of damage Boris is going to pump out here. And he continues moving forward. Glimmer Cape does come in. He wants the racks, it seems. Meanwhile, Poop Kid ends up getting the tier 2 bot tower. Boris somehow in hell gets out of there. There was just no detection to spot him out. Monkey's forever, meanwhile, in that tree line, and he'll just TP his way out of there as well. Things are still looking pretty for the side of Team ROOONS.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely still have a way back into this game. It's just, it grows harder and harder if you give away senseless kills. So far, they haven't given away too much yet. Nothing as big as the last 5 minutes when they were just dying left, right, and center. But, you know, you still have to play on tip-top form. You're on... Your backs are against the wall, I have to say. If you're ROOONS right now, your back is definitely against the wall. You want to secure at least that top set of racks completely, start breaking down other tier trees, and start really choking out that map, because I feel like it's not been choked out as much as you'd expect, Mike, with a Tinker.
No, it hasn't.
And I think that's down to Nothing Too Edgy playing really well against this Tinker. They've warded up, they've kept consistent Tinker wards up, have never been dewarded by the Radiant side, which is really quite surprising. And Lampcat has been doing a lot of work just catching out Nature's Prophet on this Tiny.
Now with that breathing room as well, they're going to smoke up on the side of Nothing Too Edgy. Though the bot lane again is being pushed in. BSJ actually going to avoid the smoke. It was broken. And with that, the Aegis also expires. And that bot lane, slowly but surely, will end up going down. Then nobody's going to be there to defend apart from Poop Kid. He BKBs up straight after Boris. And he will get him. He wants even more now. Who can he find? Blue, Winter's Curse. Who has he got? It is BSJ. This is a big one if they can pick it up. He is all alone for the moment. He does force up his way out. Although the chains are there, the TP attempt, he is not going to make it. The Yules comes in just in time. BSJ is just dead. In fact, no, the Hex comes in, but... well, Monkey's not really able to do anything with that. Meanwhile, we saw Jubei go down at the top, well, I should say the bot lane as well. He was trying to stick around a bit longer than he should have. And we'll see if the side of the die can punish with some objectives. You think they would be able to. BSJ's down for 70 seconds. But then you've got a Tinker to be up against.
Oh, the joys of playing against Tinker, Mike.
Hex, who have they got there? It is the Venge. Mia Desu gonna be alright. I Annihilate. Can't defend that tier 2 tower. Will end up going down. Though there is a bit of momentum on the side of nothing too edgy now. You can almost feel the confidence coming out, but they are still, I mean, in terms of objectives, somewhat behind. In terms of net worth, they're 7k ahead now. So they're not looking too bad at all. Boris?
Yeah, definitely.
Boris still going for the Dagons, John. He's level 4 now.
I don't know. At this point, I honestly feel like they need maybe a couple Lincolns on their team just to block the Winter's Curse. Maybe a BKB on one of their cores. Like I'm not sure if I'm crazy for thinking that, Mike. I think a BKB could be really helpful. Not being silenced would be good. Not being bursted down by Tiny would be good. Not being burned down by Ember Spirit would be good. I reckon it might be a good item this game. It just doesn't look like something that ROOONS is really considering right now. They are picking up a lot of Lincoln Spheres though.
Lincoln Spheres may get the job done. We'll have to wait and see. It almost feels like Team ROOONS have to find a way to try and win a team fight. Like, if they can't win a team fight, I don't know how long they can continue this split pushing. I mean, I guess they can just keep doing it, but
I mean, you know they definitely could, Mike. It's a Tinker. This game could potentially last twice as long if both sides just play really safe. And you know that's why we love Tinker games, Mike.
it is true.
Big fan.
Big fan indeed. PD2 now going for a Blink Dagger, which is surprising, honestly, but with that Scythe of Ice he has as well, perhaps he's going to be the secondary initiator for his team. Just wants to close out that range, perhaps on I Annihilate on that Tinker. Be able to hex him up and take care of him ASAP. Looks like we may see a smoke coming out from the dire end. Though the creep wave at top is pushing in again, which kind of indicates it's not a good time. And Boris may get caught out. He glimmer capes again throughout all this, through the tree lines, and he goes straight for the TP, and it looks like they're not going to find him. Though they do end up finding I Annihilate. That's not great.
Buyback.
Yeah, that's pretty costly to lose your Tinker like this. With that, the smoke is still there, but it almost feels like they may as well just start pushing now. Like, at least you don't have the March spam to deal with.
Yeah, this is definitely an opening. Maybe they're not aware that I Annihilate does not have buyback, but he doesn't. So they should try to find what they can. Do cross paths, Poop Kid.
Poop Kid ends up getting that tier 1 that was sitting there on 36 HP, though he loses his own life. He does have a buyback. Bot lane is being pushed in as well. There are treants running up towards that tier 3 tower. In fact, it's just a Rax now. And this will just force them to defend. They don't feel comfortable letting Monkeys Forever just push in with those treants. I guess you can't blame him. The Tinker's down, but if all the creep waves aren't pushed in, you're going to lose a Rax if you're not careful.
Yeah, you definitely can't risk it. Your racks are exposed, they can just drop really fast. And you know, they're still not aware that Tinker has no buyback. So they're just playing a bit safer than you'd want. Oh, nice blink in.
Winter's Curse though is pretty nice. And Boris going to get taken down. Now Avalanche Toss coming out. Jabay is in trouble. Nice silence though from BSJ, but he gets swapped in. He needs to get the hell out of there immediately, and he will just Hurricane Pike his way out. Jabay will end up dropping. Meanwhile, look at bot lane, John. Monkeys Forever will not leave this Rax alone, although his life may be taken at the cost of this. He goes to the TP attempt. buybacks coming out from the whole side of the Dire. BSJ apparently cleaning up at the top lane. And so now, I suppose you know, at the very least, that the Dire don't have any buybacks left. And somehow in hell, the net worth has gone back the way of Team ROOONS.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really surprised. 33 to 61, still 1k advantage for ROOONS now. It's been a topsy-turvy game, relatively flatline. Oh,
Yeah, Annihilate is in trouble. Boris will end up finding the Tiny though, but he gets swapped in and Boris is gone. BSJ trying to make a run for it. He does not get chained. Top lane, meanwhile, the Rax under siege. 2 siege creeps are there, and again, you want to push, but you can't. Poop Kid has to get back in there and defend. Team ROOONS just not, like, they're giving openings, but at the same time, they're just not. It's like, here's your opening, but your Rax is going to be taken. Which one would you like? And every single time it happens, nothing too edgy, backs off and defends it. I almost feel like the longer this game goes on, I don't feel like they're the stronger draft either, but I guess that's to be seen. They're going to go after Mio Desu now.
Killing spree.
BSJ seemingly always able to find a double damage rune whenever he feels like it, and a Roshan's up as well. So that's nice.
yeah. That's going to be a refresher shard as well. I'm not sure who you give it to. Do you give it to the Pugna? I feel like that's a good choice. Double Nether Ward is pretty good, although... yeah, double Nether Ward is always good. Maybe Treants as well. Double Treants, double Sprout. Double Nature's Wrath. Pretty nice. It does go to the Undying, so I guess 3 Tombstones is the objective.
I mean, it's going to be a lot of team fight. Now, we've seen that a couple times in our previous cast, John. It's like, it's impossible to fight into.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's really hard to go up against that much control, you know, drop 2 Tombstones and then just kind of have yourself killed, or have everyone ignore you and you suck their strength away with decay.
Yeah.
Really have to make a... It's a really rough decision when you're playing against Undying, actually.
Well, he
And
drops
it does
one.
open up to a really safe push here.
He's dropped one already. The mid lane being pushed in. They don't go for the top or bot, which are exposed. Jabay has the Aegis as well. Gonna be fine for the moment. Avalanche only connects on 1. They'll get the Aegis.
Whoa.
There's the second Tombstone. There's 3, in fact. We're gonna see a 4 Tombstone pile up, it seems, from Jabay. And you can't fight into this. It's literally impossible. The zombies are gonna continue spawning. They've all got to back off. Their health are way too low, and this is, I suppose this is one way to win. PD2 ends up getting bursted down with Dagons. The mid-Rax is gone. Every other Rax is currently exposed, but they're picking out the tier 4s because there's no buyback on the Bloodseeker. The silence from BSJ comes out. Now Poop Kid trying to clean them up. He takes down 2, but there will be a buyback from the Tinker. Now Monkeys Forever is going to be the target. They will start off with the Avalanche. They'll get him, but the Tiny's lost his own life. He buys back as well. They do lose the Ember. Poop Kid is gone, and this should be GG well played. And they call it. Still a fantastic showing from the side of Nothing Too Edgy. They really pushed Team ROOONS to you know, really become a bit more cheesy with those tombstones. And it looked scary for a moment. Like, Team ROOONS, I thought they might almost lose... might really almost lose game 2, but they don't. They end up pulling through.
Oh yeah, that was definitely close. There were a lot of moments where I felt like Nothing Too Edgy might have been able to take it away, but ROOONS was always keeping the pressure on the map. Like, they never let off. You know, it looked dumb at some point, just tossing heroes and having them die in the lane. In the end, it pays off because the map is consistently pushed in. It took a long time for a tier 1 to fall from ROOONS, Mike. And despite this kill deficit, 39 to 66, those 66 kills just didn't mean anything for the map. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's all about killing the enemy's Ancient.
Yeah.
They just couldn't do that. They couldn't clear out the map. These kills meant nothing, Mike.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, John, that's it for us for today. You got anything to say to the viewers we have in the chat?
You know, I hope you guys enjoyed. Unfortunately, that is all for tonight, I do believe, Mike. For tonight, you know, for any viewers this morning, for us, I think that's all, right?
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, but it'll be a different tournament altogether.
All right.
NADCL seems to be, it seems to be popping off very early on. It's going to be an exciting league to watch. Consider following them on Twitter for updates on who's streaming when. Otherwise, follow us on Twitter if you enjoyed, at MLPDota, at JohnXFire. And on that note, you guys have a very good night and sleep well. We'll see you guys next time.